Welcome to our latest session of Candlekeep Mysteries. The group is currently in Neverwinter, and we will try to do a very brief recap in order to jump into the action as quickly as possible. So the group will likely remember you guys had the whole encounter on the ship as you dealt with the sea swindle, as it came to be called. After that all wrapped up, you guys made your way into Neverwinter City and explored a lot of the city itself. Of particular note, the child who was on the ship with you and who seemed clearly to have something more to him. You guys tried to engage him in some conversation. He didn't seem too interested at first that you guys were speaking with him, but eventually, while you were in Neverwinter, you saw this juvenile blue jay following you around, seemingly scouting. Some of your group originally thought this was like the Find Familiar spell, and you were watching out for that, just thinking maybe some wizard or something was keeping tabs on you. But eventually you were able to put two and two together and realize that after casting a sending spell or two, that the juvenile blue jay was actually that same child from the boat, and some of you suspected that likely he was a druid or some other type of shape changer. You guys did, after stepping into the Come and Stay Inn, you guys agreed to, or you guys asked if he wanted to come in. Feel free to come in to engage you in conversation kind of thing. Other quick note is Cedric was able to procure some interesting enhancement type items for his poisons from the alchemist here. So able to switch some of his attacks to different damage type from poison to something else like fire and frost, or fire and cold I should say right now. But unfortunately he's not with us today, so we won't get to see that quite in action, but maybe next week for him. But other than that, I know, super quick recap, is there anything the group would like to add? Alright, hearing nothing, then we will go ahead and award inspiration to Brandel and Lexi for an entry into Brandel's journal once again, and we will jump right into our session. So group, we find ourselves in Neverwinter, and you guys have just entered the Come and Stay Inn. I imagine you guys are looking to get a table at the moment. You know, you have these tubs that are ready for baths later in the evening, prepped for you. Are you wanting to hang out in the common room or head right up to your rooms?
Lexi will head up.
Yeah, I think we'll just take our food up there, and if our druid friend joins us, great.
Yeah, because I ordered like the entire menu for all 6 of us, so there'll be more than enough food.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys all head up. You got plenty of accommodations here between a rented suite and some extra side rooms. So you guys all get comfortable in the suite area to have some like combined dining here, family style dining. Before too long, the food is brought up to you, as well as drinks, and the server here is quite surprised perhaps by looking at your larger group and maybe just some of the more exotic nature of some of the members, some of these equipment that you guys are having on yourselves. Silver obviously probably draws an eye. So even though this is Neverwinter and obviously there are adventures and that sort of thing, you can tell you're definitely in that area of renown at this point, where people certainly take notice of more advanced adventurers, we shall say. But yeah, you presume, based on the interest that the server is showing, that there's going to be a lot of talk in Neverwinter, or at least in this tavern, of your arrival and some of your appearances, again, as they stick out. So with all of this food delivered, you guys are able to enjoy this along with drinks. Once the food and drinks are all resolved and tubs come, and you guys are able to have a good opportunity to soak and essentially have some short bit of downtime here, is there anything in particular during this evening, through eating, through relaxation, through the tubs, anything like that you guys wanted to address?
Hey, Lexi, if he could change into a bird, he could probably change into a little spider or a what is it? A cricket? Make sure we kill every insect that walks underneath that door.
Well, he'll just.
But if it's the boy, why would we want to do that?
Well, then he should pay for his sins of trespass, and he'll manifest into himself, and he'll learn a lesson.
Right. He will just, become himself again. So we won't actually kill him if we did that. But I imagine he's probably not going to come in as a cricket. Leo
What if he
looks
was-
around for crickets.
What if he was right outside the door and they heard you say that? Now he's not going to come in.
Good. I'd rather. Well, is he outside? Let's have a look.
You open the door cautiously, but no, the hallway is empty.
See, the hypothetical is void.
Okay, well, what did he do to get on your bad side?
Well, he spied on us, and I'd rather him not continue to spy on us. And if we just kick him out of his shaped form, he'll be fine.
Well, yes, but I don't think he really meant anything against us when he was flying around like the bird. I think he was more. He thought we were entertaining. So he's. What did Randvon? What did you say? He's a rambunctious youth. Yes, that's part of it.
Well,
Exactly.
chalk it up to my paranoia as a wizard.
Well, and honestly, I think we would have trouble trying to hurt him anyway because he's pretty good.
I mean, I'm getting older, but I'm not want to hurt a child old yet. Let me know when that happens.
Well, who says he's a child? You said yourself that he could have shapeshifted into the image of a young boy. He's so smart. He could have just changed his appearance to look like a boy.
Is there a little bit of jealousy in your voice, Randall?
No, I mean, I'm sure that it's quite interesting to shape and shift into stuff, but so he's a savant, and maybe.
Oh, don't get so flustered.
All right. Well, this tea is good anyway.
Good. I'm glad you like it.
So, Lexi, how do you like that new shield?
Haven't really had much of a chance to try it yet.
Think fast. Leo's gonna pull his crossbow up and shoot, not at Lexi, but at the wall near her.
And she'll try and block it with the shield.
Oh, that sounds more like maybe that's a reflexes thing. So, Lexi, how about make a dexterity save? We'll say.
Okay.
Yeah, I imagine maybe not quite prepared for this as Leopold shouts out, "Think fast!" and the bolt definitely punctures into the wall. And being that it's a magical bolt, maybe punctures a little bit further than you would perhaps expect. But yeah, you just kind of look at the shield and realize, not quick enough.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this.
Maybe if you play around with it for about an hour or so, and you'll get used to it.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Leo's inspecting the hole he made in the wall, preparing to cast mending on it.
So I remember for Leo, all his bolts magically appear, right? He doesn't have to create his own.
Correct.
Does the rule specify whether or not the bolts disappear after they strike something?
I believe they do, actually. Let me find the thing.
I say, because otherwise you would be like literally adding matter to the world every time you shot, right? So,
It'll just get a little heavier
right.
every
The
time.
world gets a little heavier.
I'm sure after a few centuries of that would be a problem. God, where is this thing?
And not a big deal, but yeah, if you want to look it up just out of curiosity's sake. But either way, you would notice that it's not massive damage, not something that's going to cost a lot of money to repair. Something as simple as like a mending spell would be sufficient here. Vanishes the instant it hits or
Yeah.
misses a target. Okay.
There. So it's no longer there, and Leo is casting mending on it.
fair enough. A minute later, after the mending is complete, the wall looks good as new.
Sorry about that, Lexi. I should have, given you a little more warning.
Yeah, it's okay. Didn't actually hit me.
All right, so it sounds like one goal here, Lexi, is during this rest period, you're going to attune to this cursed shield.
Yes, and can I get a copy, or is it in our? Is it in our loot?
It is actually found in the SRD. It should be in there. Let me double check. Yeah, so if you look using the eye icon and look for Shield of Missile Attraction, you'll be able to drag and drop it right to your sheet.
Got it. Thank you.
Sure. All right, so it sounds like you guys are enjoying some good food, some drink, some conversation during this period of short downtime, as mentioned. Something else to consider is, what is your plan for tomorrow? So assuming you guys rest the rest of the day here in the come and stay, and you wake up in the morning, what is your plan?
Okay, so to recap, we have the possibility of going to the Damalu and infiltrating his house somehow after we've infiltrated the Black Lake district somehow. We have Brandel, get your journal out.
Yes, of course. So, Mr. South says that he might be able to point us in the direction of somebody who might be interested in purchasing some Asmodeus art. That's a good lead. We also thought about if there's art dealers in the area that maybe sells these type of art, or maybe some arts you recognized from Ladalamu's when you're scrying upon him. Also in the morning, you could get another go at Ladalamu through the magic scrying orb. Right. That may lead us into something, but I think mostly we're just kind of waiting on Mr. South, or trying to find a way to get legitimately into the Black Lake district.
Not that Leo doesn't trust Wyatt, but he's got this thing that lets him look at people from afar. So he's going to pull out the scrying orb, which is the new favorite toy, and he's going to scry on Wyatt South just to make sure he's not sitting in Ladamalu's study right now saying, yes, and there was an old one and a half-orc. And
okay, so you're trying to scry on him. Let's take a look. What is the DC for that again? Is it 17?
It's 17, and then there's some modifiers depending on the person, which may not come into play. Okay, so save modifier is 0 because I have met, but I'm not. I'm guessing I'm not familiar with the target here. Would the shield count as a possession, since it was his possession momentarily a few hours ago?
I wouldn't say so, because that's just like a good he was trying to sell.
Okay. So yeah, it would be a 17.
It does not work.
Well, that was a nice thought.
No.
It wasn't a nice thought. I probably should trust a little more, but
yeah, okay. Never mind.
Yes, Brandon?
No. I was looking at my spell list, and it's not what I have prepared at the moment.
I mean, doesn't it make sense that it wouldn't work? Didn't you sell him that thing earlier?
Which thing?
The thing you sold him for a good deal.
The necklace?
Doesn't that prevent scrying or something?
I don't think so. I think that was just nice looking. Did we sell a necklace of anti-scry? No, that was just a regular fancy necklace.
Yeah, it was not magical. I identified the stuff that we got in Valen's inner sanctum there, and it did not pop magical, so it was mundane.
Randall has one of those that he wears.
Yes, I do.
Oh, I thought that's the one you sold.
No. I only sell staffs.
Right.
You have a couple.
Okay, so tomorrow we're heading to the Black Light District, you said?
Well, we need a good reason to be in the Black Lake district. So that could actually, depending on who Wyatt has contacted, might actually lead us into there. So that's something that we might be able to check out after Wyatt gets back to us, or we get back over to Wyatt.
Well, that seems like the better play then. So tomorrow morning, let's go check on Wyatt, and then if that's not ready, maybe we goof around for a bit, and then go see him again, and then head there ourselves if we don't have if we can't find a good reason for it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Also, don't forget you have a kickball game in the morning, so if I were you, I'd hydrate. It's very important.
Oh yeah, good idea. I didn't think we'd actually planned it though. I mean, I obviously I want to have one, but the boy needs to show up first.
Yeah, well, maybe that's part of my meaning is maybe we should seek out the boy and see what his interest is all about.
Hey, what animal do you think is the best at kickball?
Kick or to play?
Sorry?
What animal is the best kickball?
What animal do you think would be the best at kickball?
Well, the answer to the first question would be an armadillo.
A porcupine?
Kangaroo.
All of those would be good. I think actually, yeah, I think you're right. Like, see, a kangaroo would be good at playing kickball.
Yeah, it could kick the ball and it has a pouch so it could also hide it.
But what about an ape?
They'd want to
Could
punch
kick
the
it,
ball,
catch it,
right?
and throw it.
I don't know if those are in the... Is that the kickball rules? What are the Forgotten Realms rules of kickball, Adam?
Come on, Adam, go.
Are you referring to the National Kickball League of Faerun or a more rec league question?
The National League, obviously.
Oh, clearly no hands.
The way.
Well, if we run into him and a kickball game happens in the streets, then great. I'm perfectly good with us having a little distraction in the morning. Well, why don't we check in with Wyatt and see if anything's going on with him, and then if not, I think as Leo's saying this, he's trying to rack his brain and come up with if there's any art gallery dealer types in the area that might have that he might know of that he could start. We could start snooping around at to see if anyone's bought any demonic art lately.
Give me a blind history check.
And I'll put a flash of genius on that.
Okay, and that adds what?
+5.
All right, so for whatever reason, you know quite a lot about the art of Neverwinter City, and you would know mostly that art tends to be the providence of very wealthy folks, so there's not really like casual art shops, that sort of thing. These would only be at the most highest upper echelons of society, so they might have like art shows every now and again in the Black Lake District. Sometimes in the actual palace there might be like a little art exhibit, that sort of thing, but there's really not art, like shops that you would find in the common areas of the city. So if you're looking for like an actual art dealer, like something that you could go into and find like all these different pieces of art on exhibit, definitely you would want to go to the Black Lake District, and there's probably only one of those in the entire city of Neverwinter. Then there might be a few like more low scale, like pottery shops, that kind of things, more spread around.
Well, that actually kind of narrows it down a little bit if there's only going to be one. So Leo will explain all of that, and he'll say, if anything, I mean, maybe we go up to the guards and flash some bling and say we're buying some art as we're passing through town to anoint our castle that we own or something like that.
I have a flashback of Nazim in Neverwinter. Ever get to the Cloud District? Oh, probably not.
All right, so after you guys have an opportunity to eat your meal and drink, I assume that you guys are all eating together in the suite here, and then after that retiring to your rooms?
I think that's the goal.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yep.
Okay, during this time, as you are all together, Lexi, I will ask you to roll a blind saving throw. So you just click blind check for that, and then I will give you the heads up.
Okay, do I need to put my token on? Where am I?
Yep, just throw it on the map anywhere.
Ranvon found you.
Let's see, it looks like you didn't have it selected when you clicked the blind check, so give it one more try. Just click on your token, and then click the blind check. There you go, that worked perfectly. Okay, fun stuff. All right, one thing, I gotta check. Okay, all right, yeah, I think we are all good, folks. So yeah, it's a good meal. It's a great drink. I assume you guys then head up to take the tubs and have your bath service. So, okay, yeah. So I would say you guys get through this without anything untoward occurring, nothing strange. You make your way up to the tubs. You enjoy a good soak. And the staff here is very accommodating, you know, bringing up soap and all that kind of fun stuff. And yeah, there's nothing else that goes wrong. Everything's very pleasant. Is there anything last minute you guys wanted to take care of before resting and waking up in the morning?
You keep asking me, but I don't think so.
Just making sure I don't cut somebody off because they had some great idea and then they're like, wait a minute, I wanted to do X, right? So yeah, we will fast forward to the morning then, as you guys do manage to get in your long rest. I'll go ahead and apply that now.
It's got me worried that, yeah, like, I said something I wanted to do, like, looking at the chats.
Well, that's what I never know. And then, of course, what I always try to avoid is the, oh, yesterday I would have done this had I known, but, you know, you didn't actually know that.
And there it is. I just found it. Yeah. Murder Leopold in his sleep.
Yep, see, you forgot it.
Let's do it. Come on. Roll to a hit.
All right, so as you guys wake up in the morning to try to fast track this a bit, we'll assume all of the dishes and all that fun stuff's been taken care of in your rooms. You guys gather everything together, make your way down to the common room of the come and stay, return your keys as you had rented those rooms for only a day. Upon doing so and being gathered there at the front, you do notice that the inn itself is fairly empty. There's, you know, just a couple people, you know, some of the workers, that kind of thing. But you notice in the corner, doing his best impression of Strider, sits the young child that you met the other day. You see as he is sitting looking, and his greenish cloak is kind of hanging right over his head. He doesn't have a pipe in his mouth, but he does look towards you with sort of a little twinkle in his eye.
There's Aragorn. I mean, hello, how are you? Good morning.
And you see he inclines his head, and he says, and to you, have a seat, if it pleases you.
Like that. Leo shoots Brandel a look like, don't try and kill him, and then I'll sit down.
Ranvon will join too.
Yeah, I'll have a seat. How's it going, young man?
Lexi will not join. She hates kids.
All right,
She'll
fair
just
enough.
mad dog
Nice.
him from the table.
They'll all sit.
All right, so as 4 out of the 5 of you, Cedric is still up, probably just relaxing upstairs as he took an extra day out. He was feeling a little under the weather. But yeah, as you guys all sit around the table, you notice the young boy here kind of looks at each of you in turn and almost like nods to himself as he does so. And then eventually he looks over towards you, Brandel, and he says, "It seems as though you've come a long way. Have you found what you're looking for here in Neverwinter?"
Ah, well, no, we're still looking about. I'm sorry, have we met before?
He looks at you with a bit curiosity, and as he does so, you see he looks to some of your other companions and says, "He hasn't reached that age where he is forgetting things, has he?"
Oh, you're on the boat, of course, but no. Is there a particular thing you think that I should be looking for?
And you notice he smiles slightly and he says, "I'm not usually one at bandying about things. I'm typically much more direct, but I must say I'm quite entertained with your strategy of trying to figure me out without just coming out and asking."
Well, okay, who are you? And do we know each other?
"No, we do not. My name is Lateran. It is good to make your acquaintance. At first, when your group was asking me so many questions and trying to interact in a very strange manner," and you see cast a glance over towards Ranvan, "I was quite curious and skeptical of what your intentions were. It seems, though, that you're quite well known in this area. In fact, I might even go so far as to say you're famous, especially your loud friend back there who does not seem to want to join us."
Oh, wow, we're famous. Oh, do tell. For what exactly? My knowledge of Faerun history, arcane weavery.
Of course, it would be related to the events of Elturel, but more or less, all of you seemingly have gained quite the attention of a lot of different interested parties. I've taken it upon myself to try to learn a bit more about all of you, as I said, from our first encounter, and it seems as though, well, you are now commissioned to work at Candlekeep, are you not?
Oh, yes. So you have heard about that's wonderful. Yes, I am a associate researcher at the Great Libraries of Candlekeep. Have you ever been?
I have, yes. I know several individuals there, in fact. It seems as though we likely have many acquaintances in common, but to get to the heart of the matter, perhaps you are looking for some assistance on your endeavors here in Neverwinter.
Leo immediately says, "Yes, please. I mean, that would be wonderful if you could give us a hand there, Ladron."
Perhaps, yes. Well, the initial cause of why you are here, there are, believe it or not, a few different paths forward to try to resolve this unfortunate situation, but I must say very few of them are pleasant, none of them to be true, and all are difficult. There are two main paths that I see. It seems as though you are following up on the first. I know of a second that was not any easier, but might be a bit more, maybe a bit less unsavory. So, to lay my cards on the table, you are looking for some way of securing your passage into the afterlife, yes?
Ah, wow, you're such a young boy to know so much. Um, yes, absolutely. I would very well like to secure my afterlife, more of a traditional sense.
I see. Well, unfortunately, I don't have a traditional sense offer for you, but I do have an alternative to the faith that currently resides for you. As I said, it is not easy, but if you are up to the task and true of heart and character, then perhaps it might be a better path to take. But I will leave the decision up to you. You already know some of the angles that you're currently pursuing now and the likelihood of those succeeding. I can't say I really know, to be honest with you, but I imagine there is much danger that way and much misdirection, lies, deceit. My way is, as I said, not any easier, but much more direct. Would you care to hear the details?
Yes, very much. A tea, please. Thank you.
And you notice one of the waitresses nods at you as she kind of like grumbles as there's not many people here, and she's like, "Oh, gotta actually work now." You notice he looks at your companions before turning his eyes and locking back on you, Brendel, and he says, "As you see me as a child, I'm sure you've imagined by now that that is not quite the case. I am actually a druid, and I've lived many, many years. In fact, it's just that as part of the ritual in order to join my druidic order, it unfortunately arrested my growth, and this is the way I look now, and will look until I should die, which is still many years to come, unless you're interested. You see, I have actually taken up the mantle as one of the chosen. You see, the chosen are selected, hand-selected even by the deities themselves, and they are representatives of those deities, in fact, on Faerun here. And they are granted many great gifts in order to become servants of the deities. If you are interested, one of those perks, you might think of it as, is a very long life. I, as I said, am one of the chosen, but were you willing to take over my responsibilities, you could extend your natural life dramatically longer without any unpleasantness of undeadhood.
Well, yeah, I'm quite interested.
But that person would then have to take over the responsibilities of the role?
They would, yes. As I said, I have lived a very long time, and passing from this world is something that I do want to do at some time. So finding a worthy successor to take over the mantle as the chosen, well, that's been one of my goals for many years now.
Ranvon's been like holding, like in his pack. He's got his hand on the ball, and he was so excited to like bring it out and show it to the boy. And learning that he's not actually a boy, he's struggling to hide his disappointment as he like takes his hand out of his pack, and just gets back to the conversation. Okay.
You notice he looks towards you and maybe picks up slightly on this, as he doesn't quite smirk, but you notice almost like a gleam in his eye for a moment. As he turns and looks and says, "Companions of Brendel, do any of you have questions about this? I understand he relies on your advice to make decisions of import."
I mean, Brendel, it seems like if this is something that you were interested in, that you probably couldn't travel with us anymore.
That's true.
But you'd be alive, Brandel. That's a big one.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be forced into slavery with Asmodeus himself, which is a vile thought.
You have a long time to resolve that, I guess.
I guess I would. I guess it would also matter upon the agreement of the chosen one, or the golden child in this sense. I'm looking for that gif, the golden child.
Where's Eddie Murphy?
Yes.
Legion, with Brandel's life being extended, are there? I suppose, would he become young again in appearance like you?
No, his form would be arrested as where it is now. As I said, my current appearance is not directly related to being one of the chosen. It was part of the ritual joining my druidic order. It's just that because of that, and I never got older, once I became one of the chosen, I stayed this old and this old looking for as long as I have.
Can you die? I'm sure you can, right? You're not immortal, are you?
If you mean die of old age, that is yet to be determined. If you mean die from violent means, I certainly expect that I could.
So, it's a way of avoiding the inevitable and kick the can down the road kind of thing. I see. That seems like a much more viable answer to my problems.
I thought so as well. This is why I was interested to see if you had interest yourself in trying this path. So as I explained, you would be taking over for me and allow me to be released from this role. You would then become one of the chosen of Sylvanas. and doing so requires somebody of a stout mind and a stout heart. It can't be somebody who is after power for the sake of power. It must be somebody who holds nature in its most highest and truest regard and is willing to use their own powers and capabilities to defend nature wherever possible.
Would I have to sleep in the dirt? Like, I mean, do you sleep in like on the ground? And I'm not much of a camper.
You see he smiles slightly at this and kind of chuckles to himself. The type of impressions people have of druids never ceases to amaze me. Needless to say, your personal grooming habits and sleeping rituals do not have to change.
That's Brandel's like number one concern. We have to sleep on a rock.
Do you think you'd be okay living so long, as old as you are already, Brandel?
Well, I mean, are there benefits to my vitality? Would my knees still have hurt every now and then when the lightning crackles?
I remember your hand swells up when it's raining also.
Yes, it's very uncomfortable. Thanks for noticing, Leo.
Well, I noticed a lot.
The effects of becoming a chosen are different for each person. For some, they do seem to regress, you might say. Physically, their appearance does not change, but the health, the stoutness, vitality, as you refer to it as, it may in fact change, but what is guaranteed is that you would get no worse than you are now.
And go ahead, Leo.
I was just going to say, Brandel, you know, if you don't get any worse, you might be able to like start going to the gym, you know, doing some workouts, and maybe that'll actually improve. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
I do sit and fit every morning before I leave the door.
Oh, right, I forgot.
I'm interested in this path. So what sort of duties do you do? I mean, do you go around helping people like us? That sounds like a wonderful task.
Because if you do, that might be a no for Brandel.
I am called to assist those who are in service of Sylvanas, and occasionally I hear his whispers. They are difficult to describe, but it is almost as though a soft breeze on the autumn air that caresses you, and in that breeze you feel knowing, you feel understanding, you feel guidance. Those things that he asks are generally all related to the preservation of nature. Sometimes it's overzealous loggers that you simply need to speak with. Most people tend to be reasonable, and when they're not, a show of force, more than true force, is usually what is called for. On rare occasions, though, the enemies of nature take a much more violent form and strike out physically, trying to kill or destroy, in which case the chosen of Sylvanas must be there to protect.
So Sylvanas hasn't necessarily given you this task to seek me out. It's more of an opportunity for you to pass down the mantle, right?
Sylvanas knows of my desire not to serve for eternity, nor does he ask any of his chosen to serve for eternity. Once each of us decides we've been here long enough and wish to see the next world, then we are suited to find our successor.
And then you think I would have centuries, potentially, if I were to maintain healthy and do the sit and fit and make sure I get my fruits and vegetables, that I could still potentially resolve my contract in the end and then look for a successor myself.
You could, however, once you end your service to Sylvanas, that means that your life would be over. So even though you destroy this contract, you would not be able to get out of your service and remain here on Faerun. But you would, of course, go to your own destined afterlife.
Well, that doesn't seem so bad, Ramdan. Do you think I have the mental fortitude and the good naturedness to handle such calling?
if you tried really, really hard and maybe.
Not to put you on the spot, I know I've been a grizzly bear for quite some time and quite
I mean,
snooty.
I guess if you had forever, you could grow into it, right?
Oh no, I mean, Brendel, he's got his points, and he does very good on many occasions. So I think you would do great in this role.
To be clear, Sylvanus does not expect his chosen to be perfect individuals, for no mortals are. But he does expect you to follow his tenets and to bring his will into the world.
Well, that's one thing. I like rules, and I like, study and, do this because of that and consequences. That seems right up my alley.
And that is a very pragmatic way of looking at things, but for this to truly work, you must be very dedicated to the preservation of nature, as I've already explained. Do you find that nature is something that you find gives you joy? Spending time in nature and protecting it is something that you could dedicate your life to.
Well, I mean, I can see that. Yes. Desperation's the catalyst to innovation. I definitely think I would. I just haven't not spent a lot of times outdoors, to be honest, Frank. I live in big cities. That's still the only thing, but I'm sure I could learn.
Understand that you will not have to make this decision immediately, but I would hope that when you are ready to make it, if you are choosing to follow this path, it is really your choice, and that you have given it a great deal of thought and found that it is something that you are willing to dedicate yourself to. If you are doing this simply to help you avoid the other effects of your current condition, I don't think this would suit you well. You would find yourself being very unpleasant and eventually finding that this is more of a bondage than a freedom.
Well, I like the gardens at Candlekeep very much. Hey, when we helped the at the monks, I like that place very much. And the sap people, we helped them. That's a good thing. Don't forget about that. Those tree fairies.
You notice he nods slightly and says, "You are likely referring to some of the Fey folk. I'm not familiar with exactly your deeds there, but that is good. Yes, those are Sylvanus' children, so if you are willing to help them, and if doing so is something that gives you joy and brings peace to your life, then that is right up the alley of the chosen of Sylvanus."
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, Brando is certainly like this exit on the highway, but playing his character, I mean, he's going to turn into the with the gray in the in the
Gandalf?
yeah, the gray, right? Not the gray, the brown. Who's the brown?
Radagast?
Yeah, Radagast. Yeah, I'm just thinking Radagast. Like Brandel turned to the Radagast from some snooty Candlekeep guy. Well, not. I mean, potentially he probably has to go through some stuff, but would I live in a tree and do all that stuff? That's a big change for Brandel. Yeah,
you did say you didn't have to sleep in the dirt, but I guess if you want to mean that, it's like, well, obviously
Yeah.
a tree then.
The tree's fine, I guess. Yeah, I'm down with that. I think it's a good idea, but yes, I do think so. But as you said, I should probably take some time to think about it. I very much appreciate your consideration, man. It's an honor.
You should certainly think about it and understand that I'm giving you this path to walk. Should you succeed on the elements of this path, then I would find you worthy successor, and I would grant you the mantle of the chosen, and you would move on in your life as a servant of Sylvanus. But should you stumble or fail or simply abandon the path, of course, there is no guarantee that you will be granted this title and these responsibilities. If you are still interested in doing the difficult work, the first one is Please step away so I may speak with your companions about your suitability.
Well, of course. And I'll step away and smile at everyone the best I can, and I'll answer truthfully, and I'll go with Lexi and talk to her about what Ladrin has told me.
And he nods as you're starting to walk that way, and he says, if you can convince her, her opinions would also be valuable in this group.
All right, so I'll go to Lexi. Lexi, how are you? Did you sleep well?
Yeah, I slept fine. Why?
Wait, you remember that boy on the ship? the
little creep you guys have been obsessed with?
Yes, I tried to kill, but let's forget about that. So he thinks he has an opportunity. He's what he's called the chosen one, and he's looking for a successor, and potentially I could be in this because of my condition. Of course, it's not guaranteed. I'd have to go through several trials, but it's something I'm very interested in. Do you think you see me as a druid? And I'll broaden my shoulders a little bit and smile.
Holy shit, this kid pulled one over on you. These narcissistic little fuckers always like to think they're the chosen one, and now they're playing a prank on a sad little old man that they want to see in a tree. And you're falling for it, all of you.
Oh, well, why don't you go over there and meet him? Maybe.
Why, so he can convince my ass to go sit in a tree too and laugh at all of us?
Maybe for support with the others. I'll keep your seat warm. Please do this for me. This might be the only chance I get. I don't want to be an arch lich of Asmodeus sitting in the 9 hells doing his bidding. And I think our leads here in Neverwinter are uninspiring.
So you want me to go sit and talk to this child who has all of you convinced, apparently, that he's the chosen one of some druid god, and you're gonna take his place and sit in a tree and meditate? Like, what about, first of all, that's all completely preposterous, and you're all morons, and I will maintain that to my dying day. But even if I were to entertain this fantasy, Brandel, you work in Candlekeep, which is the most bougie, annoying library where they bring you tea and open your books for you, and you're gonna give that up to sit in a tree. Can you at least smoke your pipe while you're sitting in the tree? How are you gonna... I don't understand how this is going to work.
I have time to think about it. That's true. I do like the comforts of life and a good feline familiar at my side and a good book. And I would be tasked from time to time to handle disputes over the wonderfulness of nature at Silverian's request. I forgot the god's name, right? I don't know. I think I could do it.
You know what books are made out of, don't you?
Yes, parchment.
Do you know where parchment comes from?
Trees, yes. Maybe expired ones or sick ones or something.
So yes, sure. You've murdered millions of trees, and now you're supposed to be at peace with them and live in them? They're gonna kill you.
Okay, guys, I think we're still talking about it over here.
Fine, I'll sit with the urchin.
All right, after this, obviously very animated conversation, you notice the very few people that are still in the inn are kind of looking over, looking like, I imagine like you're witnessing two drunk people get into a big fight, and you're just like, do I intervene? I don't know. So, but yeah, Alexi, eventually you walk over to the table and you notice this child sitting here as the rest of the group is sitting around, and you see he just motions with his hand towards the seat that Brandel vacated. The expression on his face is still very serene. He doesn't look like he's really taken notice of your conversation, or if he has, he's not showing it in any way. Safe
So
to
this is
assume
the
Lexi
kid.
sits down?
Yes.
All right, once you take your seat and get comfortable, you'll notice he lowers his hand back towards the table, and he looks first towards Ranvan, and he says, Ranvan, I would like to ask for your honest impression and opinion on the suitability of Mr. Brandel Crane, and whether he would serve the greater purpose as a chosen of Sylvanas or not. I know that you are a cleric, but not of Sylvanas. Are you familiar with Sylvanas's dogma?
I wasn't aware she had any pets.
And you notice he nods slowly and says, I see. Well, I will assume that means no, but what was your general impression of Brandel so far? If you had to give me, say, a couple of adjectives, single-worded, that you think describe him, what would they be?
Smart. Old. Paranoid.
And you see he nods slowly. And you see he turns and looks over towards Del. And you, Del Zaris, what is your thoughts on this matter?
I've fought beside Brandel for quite a while, and he is quite brave and intelligent, and truly does have empathy and compassion for those around him. I mean, we were in hell and the angels spoke to him. That must say a lot about a man.
And you see he nods slowly and he says, yes, that is true, but I'm afraid that the qualities that angels look for are actually somewhat different than what we look for. Being compassionate to others is very helpful in this kind of role, yes, but sometimes one has to make a very difficult decision. Do you think that he would be able to refuse help to somebody if they were truly in the wrong, or if in doing so it would harm nature?
Yeah, he would make that hard decision, as he made several hard decisions in Avernus. I don't doubt that anything he sets his mind to, he can do to the tenets that which he would stand for.
And you see he nods his head slowly once again, looking over towards Leopold now. And you, Leopold, you have spent significant time with him, and have even worked alongside him, or at least in the same location, for a period of time now. What is your opinion on this matter?
Well, everyone's mentioned Brandel's smart, and he is. He's smarter than me most of the time. And I think Del also brought up some good points. When push came to shove in the Nine Hells, Brandel was there. He held it together. He held us together. The nature aspect maybe is a little out of the field for him, but honestly, I think Brandel can kind of get into things after he's just had a little adjustment period. So, I mean, right now, yes, and Leo looks over at Lexi. Yes, he does like the bougie tea and Candlekeep, but it's still a place with a bunch of monks, so it's not exactly the most comfortable place to live. I think it's something that he could grow into, especially with a little bit of time.
You see he purses his lips for a moment thoughtfully as he's looking towards you and says, and if a request of Sylvanas's would clash with those who control Candlekeep, do you think that Brandel would be able to stay true to his loyalties to Sylvanas?
I would say yes. I think if Brandel pledges himself or his soul to something, he sticks with it.
You notice he puts his hand almost right away, and he says, "Please don't try to use this soul. That is nothing related to us. I would hate to be compared to such nefarious events."
That was more of a joke than anything. But I think if Brandel says he'll uphold something, he'll do it. So
You see he
Yes.
nods, but he raises a little bit of an eyebrow when you say that's a joke, and he doesn't laugh. And you see he then turns to Lexi and says, "And Lexi, I can sense that you don't necessarily agree with this plan. Please explain your thoughts on Brandel's suitability. I would like to hear your honest opinion."
Well, first of all, kid, I think this is a hilarious prank you're playing on all of us. Like, mad props, well done. Trying to get the old man to climb a tree when you know he's gonna fall out of it. Like, actually, that would be pretty funny. But our tea-swilling, crumpet-eating saggy balls meditating in the forest for the rest of his life just seems like kind of a waste of his talents.
And you notice
I mean-
this time he actually does smile as he's looking towards you, Lexi, and he says, "Fear not. Solitude nor asceticism is a requirement of being the chosen of Sylvanas."
Well, he can throw down some pretty powerful shit. So, like, I mean, you might be getting more than you're bargaining for.
Oh, and could you expand on that? What do you mean by powerful shit?
Well, he can move stuff and people with his mind, and he can see stuff like that's super far away in another land, and he can blow shit up when he wants to. And he just, I don't know. Like, when we're in battle and things are going one way, he can just predict things and they go the other way.
Those all sound like admirable traits, and ones that would be very helpful to a chosen of Sylvanas.
Well, yeah, but would he even get to do them if he's just sitting in a tree thinking about the clouds all day?
And you notice the smile returns to his face. You might be surprised to know that chosen of Sylvanas are, more often than I would like, called into martial pursuits. There are many enemies of nature out there. Some are just pure destruction, others seemingly corruption, and Sylvanas' chosen must be there to counter all of them. While I would prefer a much quieter existence of contemplation in a tree, or like you suggest, unfortunately, that's not usually how this goes.
Well, who would he be fighting against exactly? Like, I mean, the logger's gotta make a living too.
This is true, and not all logging is considered to be unhelpful or bad, but overlogging is. The forest can only support so many. When people get greedy and try to take too much, that is when nature suffers. That is when life suffers. The animals that call the forest their home suffer. If they have no other place to go, that is when the chosen of Sylvanas would step in and try to mediate a more proper solution.
Okay, so you at least give the logger dudes like a heads up before you like burn their houses down and shit, right?
Of course, yes. We would always recommend diplomacy over violence at any possible opportune time. As I said, unfortunately, sometimes those things are not choices that we get to make. Not too long ago, in fact, somewhat close by here, I actually had to encounter and deal with a green dragon who would not listen to reason whatsoever. Unfortunately, those are the types of situations that the chosen of Sylvanas will find themselves facing.
Oh, a green dragon, huh? Well, Brandel could probably take that guy on. That's cool.
And Leo says, "You know, we haven't fought a dragon yet. I would have thought we'd run across one."
And you notice he
Well-
turns his attentions back to you for a moment, Leopold, as he nods slowly, and he kind of like looks at each of your faces as he's like taking in your current reactions and maybe thinking over the things that you have just mentioned. And he nods again and he says, "This proves the first step of the path to me." That
Hold on. I do have. You only let me say the adjectives. Can I say a little bit more?
please.
Brendel, he isn't perfect. He's got his flaws. We all do. If you want my honest read on him, he seems a desperate old man trying to forge himself a legacy while becoming increasingly aware of the limited time he has left. He's cursed right now. His soul's signed away and owned by a devil. Right now, I honestly think he's mostly interested in the role for the extra time that it would afford him. But I didn't know the man when he was younger, and I don't think that he was always like this. I think a Brandel who had time on his side could become a truly great man. A Brandel who was able to slow down and smell the flowers, to be able to see the forest for the trees. I think that he could do it. A man who uses his divination to help the local farmers with their crops, or a man who grows his own plants and brews tea better than he's used to now. I'd love to see the legacy that Brandel could forge. I honestly do.
And you notice he nods towards you as you finish wrapping up, and then looks at the rest of the companions here and says, "Is there any other thoughts anybody would like to offer?"
Well, he likes to write everything down and then broadcast it, so you won't have any privacy. And you can kind of brag about your stuff, too. So that's pretty cool.
And you notice he kind of smiles slightly again as he looks towards you, Lexi, and says, "While some of the activities of a Chosen of Sylvanas will be known to the larger public, discretion is also important. This is one of the few items, honestly, that I didn't think I had to worry about. Being accepted to work at Candlekeep and being involved in all of the things that he has through your group. Surprisingly, things have been kept quite quiet, which is good."
Well, you're a child, so I can't really go that much into it, but there was an incident, hence the nickname Saggy Balls. Involved a lot of alcohol and was at a bathhouse. So discretion might be a difficult one for him.
And you notice he nods at this and says, "You've given me much to think on. As I said, the first step of the path is satisfied as far as I'm concerned. Just being able to forge a deep bond with a group such as this that is so diverse and comes from different places in the world and has different views on things, but each of you is willing to speak in a way positively, and clearly you're not holding back and only giving me the positives, but still, on the net balance, certainly it seems as though you all agree that he would be a good fit for this. That satisfies for me. The next step of the path, and I will bring Brandel over here once I explain this to you, is a dangerous one. For to prove one's worth of being a Chosen of Sylvanas, the typical task is taking down an enemy of the chosen faith and defeating that enemy and showing that as your, I suppose you could think of it as badge of pride to be selected. And just so happens that there is a particularly nasty enemy of Sylvanas not too far away, in fact, from Candlekeep. And I'm of a mind to send him, and as I imagine your group, to this individual to defeat. Will each of you be willing to stand with him in this endeavor and defeat this creature, even if it means perhaps some of you lose your own lives?
Is it the dragon? Is that what it is?
Yes.
It's not a dragon.
I mean, what did the creature do? It is a bad thing.
I will certainly give you all of those details once we get Brandel back over here, but if you were all to say no, or this task is too challenging, or you don't want to risk it, then I might not even mention this to him, for I wouldn't want to see him simply throw his life away.
Oh no, we're in.
Yeah.
We can handle it.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, we like challenges. I don't think there's really a challenge that we can't conquer.
And you notice he nods slowly as this and says, "Well, that attitude will get you very far in life until it doesn't. But let us bring Brandel back over here." And you see he kind of motions with his two little fingers for you to approach.
And Del nudges Leo and he's never been to hell and back. That's why Leo hears in his mind.
Yeah,
And then
let
he
me
like
look on
does it
that.
to each other party member at the table. So everybody all the party members at the table hear that.
You're not wrong, Leo replies in his head.
Oh, yes. May I?
Yes, you see he nods to a empty chair nearby. The first step of the path has been satisfied. Each of your companions has provided very helpful information on balance. And, well, I was just explaining to them one of the main tasks here necessary in order to elevate yourself as a candidate for one of the chosen of Sylvanas is to defeat an enemy of the faith. There is a particular creature that is very disruptive to nature, and it is not too far away from Candlekeep as of our last tracking of it. This is a true force of nature, but in an evil way, and thus we would ask that you defeat this creature and put its evil out of this world.
I've been over there thinking, and I think this is where I want to go, guys. I think this could be the answer. I am. One more couple of questions, Ladrin. I mean, where would I live? Would I be able to enjoy the comforts of large cities until I'm called, of course, and I just teleport wherever needed?
Yes?
And there would be brie and tea in my comforts as well.
There is no salary that comes along with being a chosen of Sylvanas, but there are various perks, as I mentioned, some of them having to do with your lifespan, others are more secret and will be revealed to you should you achieve this lofty position.
And my job as an associate researcher probably wouldn't be impeded. Of course, if Sylvanas, my side quest with Sylvanas would obviously rule over any of my duties at Candlekeep, but theoretically, you could probably live there still, right?
It's possible, though you may find that you are pulled more frequently to Sylvanas' service, and Candlekeep may find that a bit constricting, but if you are able to balance both of those priorities, it's certainly possible.
Well, sadly, those are my 2 reservations. I'm in.
And you see he nods once again and says, then, you have taken the first steps on the path. As I said, it is a difficult path. This is not something that is easy to come by. You will be tested this entire time. You can think of nature looking over your shoulder and watching your every move from this moment on. And eventually, once you reach the end of the path, you will be informed and this title shall be bestowed upon you.
Now, I probably know quite a lot about Sylvanas, right?
Give me a blind religion check.
I'll give him a +5 on that flash of genius.
Okay, yes, I would say yes, you are familiar with Sylvanas. He's one of the largest pantheon deities. He's considered a greater deity, very much associated with nature. Probably you hear him most referred to as the Tree Father. That seems to be one of his most common nicknames. And yeah, he's very, very prototypical druidic power. So basically anything you can think of as far as protecting nature, wanting to make sure that balance is achieved. He is a neutral deity. And yeah, his focus obviously is on preservation of nature, natural places, that sort of thing.
Right, okay, well, is there like a handout or pamphlet of the tenets of Sylvanas that I may keep on the path? What are the rules? Because I'm very good with rules.
That may be challenging for you then, because part of being a chosen of Sylvanas is there are no rules. You must make those up yourselves. Different chosen throughout the years have found different ways of doing this. Obviously there are priests of Sylvanas, but that is a different path than what we walk. They are very friendly with us, and obviously our causes are very similar, and we can find aid from them should we need it, but it is not the same. We are not dedicated in a religious sense to Sylvanas. We are, you could think of it almost as a hand-picked hero for Sylvanas, if that terminology works better for you. And Sylvanas simply asks that we enact his will in the world and take upon specific quests or missions that he dictates are necessary, short of that, short of dramatically going against his wishes, the individual activities of each of the chosen of Sylvanas are up to them.
I like it. A kind of growing into the relationship with Sylvanas. I see that. I think Ranvan and I could figure that out. You've communed with Torm quite frequently. It must feel good in your soul. Yes, I think this is quite the path that I should take. You guys are willing to help me out?
Yes. If anything, we can offload this crystal ball on you, at least.
Well, I'm quite moved, guys. I don't know what to say. You've been with me, and I would be honored if you were to help me find this path. And Ladrin, you can see that I do have good friends about me, and I love them dearly. And to have them come along with my path with me is very important. And if my friends are willing, then I will go. I want to do this.
And you notice he looks at you intently for a moment and says, good friends are obviously very important, but remember, should this work out and you follow this path to success, you will likely outlive all of them. And you must be willing and ready when the time comes that they pass to maintain your focus and your duties as a chosen of Sylvanas.
I will. And I'll honor their lives as long as I live.
He nods. Then, as I said, the second step of the path is defeating this beast, this creature. Beast is not really an appropriate term. It is a creature, is what I would call it. But the specifics of this are up to you to determine. I can tell you approximately where this creature is, but I'm afraid I will not be able to give you much in the way of detail about it. You will know it when you see it. I can say that for certain. There will be no doubt that you have found this evil corruption of nature, for its form will show its truth. It will be easy to see. There is no deception about it, at least once it is revealed. Apologies for speaking so cryptically, but this is part of the challenge. If I was to give you too many details, then it could be seen as though I was aiding you in this challenge. So I will answer some questions, but I will explain. I can only give you very brief information. So as I said, this creature is found somewhat near Candlekeep. In fact, if you were to leave from Candlekeep heading southeast, there is a path among the mountain peaks there that leads further south. This beast, this creature, is in that area. You would head to the peaks and search around for it. It may take you a day or 2 days or 3 days to find it, but find it you shall.
Okay, is it singular in nature, or does it have an army, or is it its own beast? Creature.
It is its own entity. It may have, I won't call that, it would certainly not have an army, that is not its nature, but it might have assistance, I suppose you could say.
Excellent. And to whose service does it devote its life? Do you know?
I would imagine its own, for its nature is that of a very vile being that thinks it is much more important than it actually is. It would not surprise me to learn that it thinks it is itself a deity, perhaps, or something near close to that.
In Leo's mind, he hears doubt. It's the dragon.
And Leo responds, It's gotta be a dragon, right?
Nothing. This kid's punking it.
We all look like we're having a conversation mentally without moving our hands.
Any particular strengths or weaknesses that you're aware of?
Of course, but unfortunately those I am not able to share.
Well, we'll figure it out. Anything you guys can think of anything else?
if I'm sitting near Dell, I'm gonna nudge him and be like, find out the weaknesses.
If there are no other questions that you have, then I will simply state, be very, very careful. This might be the most difficult challenge that your group has ever faced. It is always difficult to say, gauging the strength of a group against a force such as this, but if any group can defeat it, I have confidence that your group will make the right decisions. Also be aware that if you are unable to defeat it, this is not on some type of strict timeline. If you strike out, realize you are outmatched, and need to retreat and regroup, don't feel any shame in doing so.
All right. All right, so you can't tell us any weaknesses about it. What about, do you know more or less what it's, the location it will be in? What kind of environment it favors, aside from just being out in the woods?
Yeah. Can you give us some better details so that we could maybe be more prepared and potentially be able to scry on it? Do you have a name?
I am familiar with its type, and it has a chosen name that I am not familiar with. I can tell you, though, that it resides in the Cloud Peaks. You will have to spend some time searching around for it, but once you discover it, as I said, it will not hide from you. It is a presence that is malevolent and will likely try to just defeat you immediately. It is not particularly open to communication. It is not the type of creature that tries to persuade individuals to follow it or tries to dominate them. It is of a singular mind that it deserves everything that it can take and conquer and destroy, and therefore seeing you will likely cause it to immediately challenge you.
What do I know about the Cloud Peaks, you called it?
Give me a blind history check.
Can Leo get in on that one too?
I will give Brandel advantage on this, as you guys will try to put your heads together after the fact.
Perfect. Compare notes.
So the Cloud Peaks are a location southeast of Candlekeep. They are fairly extensive. There is a path that actually cuts through the Cloud Peaks that travels from the Eldergard area nearby Baldur's Gate. It goes south through and travels into the country of Am. They themselves are known for all matters of giants. So there tends to be a lot of like hill giants in that area, some stone giants and some other types of giants, but more commonly it's hill giants and ogres. So a lot of like primitive giant types, you could think of them as. And they sometimes do come down and raid travelers that are on the road trying to travel through that pass.
Ledrin, in my new pursuits of Sylvanas, do we consider these many types of giants particularly an adversary towards nature? Don't know that much about giants.
There are many different types of giants in the world. Some of them are just vile and evil, but if they're not going out of their way to destroy nature, then Sylvanas doesn't really have much of a care for them. Again, Sylvanas' concern is with the preservation of nature, and when things get out of balance, that is when he steps in. This particular creature, as I said, I cannot give you any particular details, but once you find it, it will not come as any surprise to you. I trust me when I say that once you explore, if you run into the denizens of the Cloud Peaks and dispatch them or scare them off or persuade them, whatever it is, this particular creature will stand out and you will not be able to persuade it or convince it of anything.
Is it a Tarrasque?
You see, he kind of looks at you and like narrows his eyes slightly.
And says, "All right, I just had to ask. I'm sorry."
If there are no other questions that your group has, then I will leave you to think on these matters, and as I said, be aware This is not something that is on a very tight timetable. If you have other tasks that you wish to take care of, feel free to do so. Once you are ready to have further conversations, use one of those handy spells to just send me a message and let me know where to meet you, and I can arrange to arrive fairly quickly.
Okay, are you limited at all in how far you're willing to travel or are able to travel? You're not like stationed from your god, are you?
No, as a chosen of Sylvanas, my duties take me all around the lands of Faerun. I've been up in the 10 towns and as far south as the deserts, as far west as the Great Ocean, and as far east as the Spine.
Ramvon's not familiar with any of those places, but he goes, "Oh yeah, those places."
Just a gentle pat on Ranvon's shoulder.
And with that, you notice Ladderin steps up and kind of just brushes off of his little tunic here and flops his cloak out, puts his hood a little bit lower down, and nods his head towards you and says, "I wish you all the best of luck, and Brandel, I hope to see you successful." And with this, you see he starts walking out at his slow pace.
When he gets a little further away, Leo will then whisper to the group, "So I think it might be a Tarask. This may be a little more difficult than we thought." Did you see the eyebrow that he raised when I mentioned it earlier? I think I'm a little worried now.
Well, how bad is a Tarask?
Pretty bad. I don't know. I've never seen one. Only heard
Is it
about
as bad as a dragon? Or
I think it's worse. It's like a bigger dragon. It's an even bigger dragon.
Well, that's big.
It's very. Well, as our friend just said, it's not exactly an urgent timetable, so we've got some leeway there. We're here at Neverwinter. I think we want to still try and pursue these leads, Brandel, or do you want to cast this aside and head straight down there?
Yeah, this is quite the curveball. I mean, this curved kickball. Anyway.
It might make sense to kind of finish up all of our business here, and then if the whole thing doesn't work out, we still have some leads that we can follow afterwards. Not that I think it won't work out, because if it doesn't work out, we'll probably all be dead. But just being prepared.
I kind of feel like it's A or B.
He knew an awful lot about us.
Druids, I think, know things. He might have been able to commune with Sylvanas directly also, if he's a chosen. I don't know exactly what that entails, but that would seem to me being something that they could do.
And by the way, I could still be a wizard. I won't change into a druid, which is what my initial thoughts were. Whew, thank God. Thanks, Sylvanas.
Nice.
I still think we're being punked.
Maybe.
So, being quite frank, we only came here just to deal with my hellish contract, and you guys so willingly came here. There's a plan B. I don't see the intent to pursue both avenues. I say we choose one, and I think we have. I mean, what would we gain by learning more about Ladalamu and the cult of the Raging Fiend? And it would just drag us down a bunch of other temptations to make turns here and turns there. When maybe we should just be flat out going down this path with the eventual fight with the predicted dragon.
Well, he did make it seem like the fight would be very difficult, and kept urging us that we didn't have to do it now. It made it seem like he didn't think we were quite ready for it. The other thing is that even if you have all the time in the world, you're still going to need to break out of the contract you're in anyway. So this information will be useful at some point or another.
That's true.
I mean, I think it makes sense since we're here to just kind of follow a few leads that we've got and just see where they end up without necessarily going all the way to the Nine Hills. And then, once we've milked Neverwinter for whatever it has for you, Brandel, then we'll pack up, get out of here, and And again, if the thing doesn't work out with Sylvanas, then we've got Plan C that we can go back to, or Plan A. But because it's Plan B and then it becomes C, never mind.
Yeah, it's confusing. Very well. So we're here. It's nice, and maybe we should see what Mr. South has dug up, and it's giving me quite encouragement, actually. You're right, Ranvon. I mean, I would still eventually die, many years from now, or in combat, right? And I would still be fall into the contract.
Right. So, want to go see Wyatt?
Yes, sounds good.
All right, so it sounds like the group would like to exit the inn here and head out looking for Mr. South. Is that you guys' next plan?
I think so.
Yes.
Yep. When we do leave, okay, I'll wait until we do, actually, before I say this.
So you guys want to hang around here for a lot? No, okay. All right, so yeah, you guys managed to run these thoughts over through your mind, and very curious. It's set a curveball, as Brandel has described it. But yeah, you guys gather your belongings and head out of the inn and start making your way over to the pawn shop.
Once we're outside, when we pass a group of kids that look like they're not doing so great, Ranvon will pull the kickball out of his pack and hand it to them and give them a gold as well. Here, make sure that this sees some fun.
And you notice, yeah, these kids obviously are very excited about the ball, but once you hand them a gold piece, they're far more excited about that. As they look at it, you're getting the impression they probably haven't seen a gold piece before, or if they have, not very often. But yeah, they are very excited, and they thank you very emphatically. And then within a short period of time, they're moving quickly away, and you can see them all looking, like one kid in the middle holding onto it as a kid on the other side are both looking in and like, let me touch it. No, he gave it to me, as they're walking away.
That was nice of you, Ranvon. I'm sorry you didn't get to play with the druid child.
It's okay. I thought that we would be helping a kid who maybe never had some real fun, so that I'm glad that those kids will have some fun with it.
I think they will.
All right, yeah, so you guys make your way over to the pawn shop, and as you enter, you notice that it looks very similar to it did yesterday when you were here. There's perhaps a few less customers. You remember yesterday there was kind of like this rolling line that people would just go in and come right out. But you do notice Mr. South behind the counter here, and as you enter, you notice, much like yesterday, he motions for his co-worker here to take over the main responsibilities of the desk or the counter, as he makes his way over to the side and motions for you all to approach.
It's a little earlier than we thought it would be, but we just kind of were wandering by and thought we'd check in and see if you've managed to get hold of your contact. I'm
afraid not quite yet. Well, Leo, you know how things are. I mean, it's just been very busy. I thought we agreed on a couple of days. You see, he kind of scratches the back of his neck. Yeah, I think I just need a little bit more time.
Well, that's fine. I think we just came here on the off chance that you had managed to find him. No worries, Wyatt.
Mr. South, we are desiring to do some shopping in the Black Lake district, and last time we were there yesterday, it seemed a bit exclusive. Excuse me. Do you know of any reason or legitimate business we can get past the guards, or can we deliver something to someone, or give us a reason to be there, or do we just pay the guards? How do we get to Black Lake district?
And you see he looks towards you and scratches the other side of his neck. Oh, you're trying to get into Black Lake. Well, yes, well, the quarters are quite secure, you understand. That's where most of the upper scale folk live, and they don't like just anybody wandering around. If you don't live there or have a specific purpose to be there, generally they will not let you in. If you're willing to wait sometime, I believe it's beginning of next week. There's an exhibit at the local art gallery.
That was actually why we were going in there, was to go to the art gallery. I don't suppose you think they would just go for it if we went up and said we wanted to go there early to negotiate for some artwork.
Very unlikely. You could try. There's another merchant on the other side of town who sometimes moves some art for them, and they can sometimes make arrangements to grant access, but it is pretty rare. As I said, they try to keep the Black Lake district very, very secure. They don't really have, they have some shops in there, but it's not really for just like random people. It's the people that live there.
Right.
And you see he scratches the back of his neck once again as he's looking at you, Leopold, and you get the kind of impression that he's a little bit fidgety, perhaps a little bit more nervous than he was yesterday.
Leo doesn't have too many things he can do for that, but he'll just kind of nod and say, "Well, all right. Thanks for your time, Wyatt. We won't take up any more of it. We'll stop by in a couple more days and see if we've managed to find your person."
You see he taps this small object that he's holding on to. It looks almost like a pencil on his flattened wrist as he's looking towards you. He says, "Yes, yep, a day or two. Probably just one more day would be sufficient, but if two, that would be fine as well."
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
And you see he nods and resumes his duties.
Guess we'll walk out.
All right, you guys exit the pawn shop.
Hey, Leopold, it seemed like your friend was a little nervous there.
I was picking up on that too. I don't know exactly what was causing that. If he was nervous about the person that he's trying to get a hold of for us, or if something else happened that made him nervous.
We're standing in front of his shop. Yeah, assuming it has a glass window, can I peer inside and see if I see someone walk up to talk to him after we've left?
Yeah, there's certainly windows here. As you sort of nonchalantly get by and just kind of glance in, no, you see him just kind of moving stuff around the counters and kind of repositioning himself. And within a short period of time, 30 seconds or so, it seems as though the full line that he had sent to his coworker kind of splits up and he starts taking half of them.
Okay, I don't see anything happening right now, so maybe what you brought up made him nervous.
It could have. I mean, I didn't think it would be too much of a trouble if we just popped in to see if he had gotten hold of the guy a day early or not, but maybe that made him nervous. Or maybe Asmodeus himself showed up and threatened him to do something. I don't know. Or maybe there was a dragon that came by. They can turn into humans,
I was thinking it might be the mention of the district we're trying to get to.
That could be. Well, I don't know if that makes him nervous per se. I'm not sure why. Aside from the fact that we're obviously not noble born, so who would let us in?
Okay, then what's the plan then? Are we just goofing off for the day?
Yeah, I mean...
Well, if we're gonna go fight this beastie that this child says is so bad, I wonder if I should put my demon underwear on.
Is that a new kind of drug?
No, Cedric and I got drugs at the other place. We got those kind of drugs. No, I'm talking about the stuff I wore in Avernus.
It's a devil underwear. Big difference.
Nah, devil, demon, whatever.
I mean, it's not. We have ways of, I think, getting it off of you now. Like, see if we need, but maybe. I mean, I'm not telling you to do anything per se. I'm just saying, but maybe just hold on until we really need it. I don't know. I just.
But I gotta attune to it.
It's true.
Well, I will say it does take several days to get to the cloud peaks, and there's enough time in the rural areas to take your devil form and not cause undue attention.
Okay, so I'll have time if I need it.
Yeah, I think so. I would love to see you back in that wonderful devilish form. You certainly kicked a lot of ass in there.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to fly whenever you want.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, Leo.
But sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was looking away.
Oh, Lexi was just saying how nice it is to fly at will, not have to spend a level 3 spell slot.
I thought he was just going to say I wasn't paying attention. I was staring at my boots.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, you also notice Leo's stopped paying attention. He's just looking down at his feet. What? So anyway, I don't know. Do we want to try and tuck our way into the Black Lake District? It's more than likely that we'll just end up arrested, so maybe that's not the best idea.
That sounds kind of fun, actually.
So, being that you're from here, Leopold, again, you know that the Black Lake District is very secure, and generally the only way guests are allowed in is by invitation. So if you have an invitation from somebody in the Black Lake District to visit, then you show that, to the guests, or the owner of the property in the Black Lake lets the guards know, hey, I've got, X people that are coming in this place, and then they will actually escort you to the property itself until you're there, confirmation is made of the owner, and then you're kind of more free at that point. But if they see you just wandering, they would take you right back out. It's unlikely you'd be arrested unless you did something threateningly, right? But yeah, again, you'd basically be looking for an invitation, or you could, one option, I'm not suggesting you do this, but you could always go to the gates and say, we want to speak to such and such person. Would you ask them if we'd be welcome to attend them, kind of thing.
But shit, everyone, let's just go up and say we want to talk to Ladamalu and see what happens.
Well, really, at this point, and if the gig's up, then we're heading up to the Cloud Peaks anyway.
Okay, well, let's not. We put in a lot of legwork yesterday to try and be a little sneaky, right? So maybe we don't blow that all away right away. We could wait till tomorrow. We could try some other things. I'm not opposed to trying some stuff, but let's not throw yesterday away.
Fair enough. Hey, Adam. When Leo managed to finally scry on Ladamalu, would that translate into him being able to then scry on the location that Ladamalu was in, the mansion?
Let me read how it's worded.
Yeah, you can definitely scry on a location, but let's see what it says here. A location you have seen before as the target of this spell. Kind of weird. Like, does it mean I have to have targeted it as a spell before, or?
But if so, how would you ever get a location?
Yeah, right, because you can't do that unless you do it.
Yeah, I don't like how that's worded either, but I think the intent there is you've seen the location, so yes, you could target the location.
So what I could do is target the mansion itself, which in theory doesn't have a wisdom save, but who knows. And I don't know, see if we can catch sight of some other people that are there in the mansion, and then through them we could start maybe tracking their movements through the city and find another avenue that way.
Yes, and speaking of round buns, our efforts, we were going to look at the cloak tower to there, and then we were distracted by Landarin. So we never quite went there, and that's for wizards, right? The cloak tower. I mean, I could always walk in there and ask for permission to, I don't know, read some books or do some research. I don't know, like maybe there could be some clues there, because it's the last location of the cult of the raging fiend.
I think, honestly, it's not a terrible idea. We did want to just, kind of look around the place, not expecting too much, but just to see. We could do a little mini tour of Neverwinter. I could show you the sights.
And I would like to go to the Arcanist Quarter. Maybe see if there's a scroll shop around.
I think that makes sense. We'll go do a little shopping. Maybe I'll take a moment off to the side and try and scry on Madame Lou's mansion and see if I can glean anything that way, and see what shakes loose.
So Adam, is that correct on the cloak tower? I don't want to head over there if I'm not remembering properly what the cloak tower is, and whether or not I feel like I can get in there and read books or something, if they even entertain that.
I don't know that you would know if you can get in there, but yes, it is definitely a private institution associated with wizardry. And I think I explained to you guys last week that sometimes they take students, right? Like, are able to actually educate people in the arcane arts, and they do research there, that sort of thing. But it's not generally thought of as like a public place that you can just go wander and peruse what the cloak tower is.
Okay, well, I don't know, maybe my badge of employment at the Candlekeep would suffice me to at least, respectfully peruse their annals, and maybe I could do some research on Sylvanas and the Cloud Peaks as a good excuse to get in there, and then maybe we could look around for signs of Asmodeus cults. I doubt it, but I don't know. Since we're following up from yesterday's session.
I'm game. The worst that can happen is we go there, they say no, and we get arrested, which is fine.
You guys are very hung up on getting arrested. Hopefully this isn't your game plan.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just thinking of, I'm stuck on what's his name from Baldur's Gate, that when we had to go and deal with all the mechanical constructs.
Ooh, Alder Ravengard?
Yeah, that's it. Not that he was going to arrest us, but that was mainly what we were dealing with.
Okay, so it sounds like the plan is to head over to the Arcanist Quarter and just sort of discuss or talk with the folks at Cloak Tower, see if you can get access to it to see what's there, and then also do some research. Is there anything else while you're here in Neverwinter that you're trying to do? Are you trying to burn time, or any other thoughts other than heading to the Cloak Tower?
I think I think Brandel's idea of maybe finding a magic scroll shop isn't terrible, and I don't know how magic items in general are kind of expensive, so I don't know if that's going to help us a whole lot, just because something decent is going to cost 30,000 gold or whatever. But I guess if there's a magic item shop somewhere.
So I would say in general you won't really find much in the way of magic item shops. Scrolls, sure, like potions, that kind of stuff, you'll find more of that. Finding permanent magic items, weapons, staves, that sort of thing, it's usually like you've got to put word out saying that you're looking for something like that. Some buyer tries to track something down, they find the connections, yada yada. AKA, that's something you can certainly do in downtime when we have those weeks of downtime. But just finding stuff randomly in a shop is, they don't really have stuff like, on display in the ye all shoppers looking for magic item store kind of thing.
There's no Pumat Souls shop in here. That's
not here, at least. No.
All right. Well, yeah, I think scrolls then, if anything.
Okay, fair enough. So it sounds like doing a bit of shopping and checking out the Cloak Tower. All right, so yeah, guys, we will go ahead and take our 15-minute break as we're halfway through, and when we pick up on the other side, we will do a bit of more shopping.
Okie dokie.
All right,
Yay!
so
It's
y'all
not
go
often. It's not often. Viewers at home. It's not often you get 2 shopping episodes in a row. So consider yourselves very lucky.
I know everybody's on the edge of their seats watching this. Like, man, when are they going to slow down?
All right. See you guys after the.
Alrighty, welcome to the second half of our session here. We had a brief chat during break time, and we're going to try to pass time a little bit more effectively here. So the group is going to spend a bit of time searching around in Neverwinter here in order to track down some just basic information. But for the most part, they're just going to enjoy their time here in Neverwinter and looking around at the different offerings here in the city, and passing some time until they can reconnect with Wyatt on the next day. So as there was nothing critical that happened, everybody already had a long rest, we will assume that that has occurred. And the group has managed to make accommodations, rested once again in Neverwinter, and it is now the following day, and you guys find yourselves out front of the pawn shop once again. Alrighty, so as you guys spot the pawn shop, you'll notice that the traffic is a bit busier this time, more like the first day that you guys arrived. But yeah, it looks open and ready for you.
Anything else we want to mess around with when we go in there? Not that I expect it to suddenly turn into a fight or anything. Just
No, I think we're just gonna wait on the contact if it develops and see read his demeanor, Randon. See if you can insight some of his trepidations.
I mean, I'd probably let Leopold do that. He knows the man better than I.
Very well, yes, of course.
if you see anything odd, just don't make it obvious, but let me know.
Hey, how about this? We're gonna be at the inn, right? So we're gonna go there right away. So before we go, I'm gonna cast telepathic bond on us. I have it prepared. So for an hour, when we walk there, and during the conversation, we're gonna have that.
Good man. You can
Okay.
ritualize it so you don't have.
Oh yeah, let me ritualize it. Yeah, thank you. I'll ritualize that in our safety of our suite.
Okay, fair enough. We will assume you guys all are connected through the telepathic bond.
Leo will go in when we get there.
All right, as you open the door to the pawn shop, pushing past some other patrons here, the first thing that probably draws your eye is there is this interesting looking black urn that has this sort of like red flecking in it that is set up on the counter. This wasn't here yesterday or the day before, certainly draws your eye, but the next thing you notice is that Wyatt is not behind the counter. There's actually two other individuals, one of the same guys you saw yesterday and the day before, and then another one that looks a bit younger, and the two of them seem to be tackling the customers.
There's a fight.
Well, they're dealing with the customers.
Oh.
Punching them, tackling them. I guess. How big's the line?
You probably got like 6 people in front of you.
To forestall. I hate people that do this in real life, but to move us along, Leo's going to say, "Is Wyatt around?"
And you notice as you kind of call this out, one of the guys behind the counter looks back at you and says, no, he's off today.
We were supposed to meet him today.
And he looks at you and shrugs. I don't know, man. He asked for cover. So, yeah, he's not here.
Does he usually take this day off?
Are you asking this of the shopkeep?
Yeah, I'm gonna walk up to him, like next to the guy he's serving.
And you notice he's still like busy with his hands here as he's moving things around and pointing some things out for this patron. But as you ask this question, he looks towards you and says, not very often.
Hey, what's with the urn?
Oh, you interested in it? It might be for sale. I got to check the paperwork.
Oh, wow, excuse me. And he'll like he'll get in front of the guy who's at the front of the line here so he can get a better look at it.
And you notice, the guy kind of steps back with this like aggrieved look on his face as you push by, and you hear under his breath, "Some people."
So
Yes.
am I? I'm gonna be in the shop, but kind of away from others. I don't know, down the aisle. I'm gonna activate my wand of magic detection, please. I can do that without verbal components, I think.
Okay.
And
So I would say, without getting in too much detail, because there's a ton of people in here, I'm sure some of them have magic items on them somewhere. And around this area of the pawn shop, the occasional item was also ping as magical, but without going through and defining all of the inventory of the pawn shop. Is it mainly the urn that you're looking at?
yes, of course, yes.
Okay, the urn is indeed magical, and you can see after you focus on it for a moment, it seems to be associated with conjuration magic.
I'll telepathically say that to Ranbon, and I'll just open it to everybody.
Okay,
Conjuration.
Rambon's interested now. He'll ask how much it is.
And you notice the guy behind looks towards you, looks at the line behind you, looks back towards you, and says, let me check the paperwork.
Sure.
And he starts,
And while he's doing that, I'll turn to the guy behind me in line, and I'll just be like, "Is this place always this busy?"
and you see he just kind of grumbles as he's looking at you. Eventually, you notice the shopkeep does pull up some paperwork, and you see he kind of traces a finger, and he looks and he says, Oh, I'm so sorry. This doesn't happen very often, but this is a reserved, apparently. There's already a buyer for this. We're just holding it for right now.
Oh, really? You can't, I know some places do this. Can I give you, $1 more than he's paying and just have it?
You see he looks down once again and says, well, it looks like, no. They've got this this is reserved. You don't usually see it this way, but no, this note says already purchased, must be, sorry, no, this is not one of those, best offer deal kind of things.
I want to, if he's close enough, I'm going to try and grab the note out of his hand. Just be like, well, let me see. Who is it? Just grab it so I can read the name.
Give me a blind check real quick.
And while this is going on, Dell will telepathically to everyone be like, what if we say we're supposed to deliver it?
Leo will say, we've kind of already, pretended that we don't know what the hell it is, but I don't know if, maybe some magic might convince him that we're supposed to deliver it.
As you try to quickly snatch this out of his hand, Ranvon, you're unfortunately not quick enough. As he sees your hand coming, and you see he steps back and he looks at you with this frown on his face, and he says, Sir, please maintain yourself.
Well, I know the owner here. I'm not allowed to read that?
No, this is the personal log of the business. We can't show this to the customers, I'm afraid.
What is your name?
Why do you want my name?
My friend Leopold here is probably going to have a conversation with the manager here.
And you see he shakes his head. He says, well, I know Wyatt pretty well. I'm Everett. If you wish to speak with him, you can tell him that it was me.
Well, I hope you liked working here, Everett.
And you see he looks at you again, really much in disbelief, and he says, Sir, you cut in the line. You're going to need to leave now, please.
I'm already leaving, so you can't kick me out. And he walks out.
All right, fair enough. So those of you guys still in, you notice Ranvon exit with some dignity intact, perhaps?
That didn't go very well, Ranvon, mentally to him. But that was good. That was a good try.
Does anybody want me to beat him up?
Hold that thought. Hold that fist. I'm just looking to see here. One thing. No, that's not gonna help. Leo is. He's gonna go over in the corner of the shop, kind of away from everyone. He's gonna pull out the scrying orb and he's gonna scry on Wyatt.
Inside the crystal ball, you see an image of a fairly small room, maybe like 10 by 10 or so. It looks to be fairly Spartan, not a lot of fancy stuff here, but you get the impression of like maybe a very common room for, like a residential home type of thing. And you can see Wyatt is lying in bed, and he's got the covers kind of pulled up to him, and you can see that his face looks very stressed. Looks like he hasn't really slept much, and he's just lying here kind of eyes open as he's like looking around in the different areas of the room.
I'll tell everyone what I see through the mental link. Del, you can talk to people from far away that you've met. I'm wondering if maybe a quick message to him might kind of point us in a direction, or let us know if he's being haunted by some terrible secret that he now knows that I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I can send him a message through the sending spell. Do you want to scribble on a note what you want me to say? 25 words or less?
I think maybe just ask him. He through the spell he should know who you are. So just say, "What's wrong? We will help you if we can. Can you tell us anything? What's the urn? Where's the urn going?" Ask that.
That's less than 25 words.
So, what's wrong? We can help you.
Do you know if the urn's going anywhere special? I'll ask him if the urn is related to his problems.
And yeah, Della, that sounded reasonable. Don't worry about having to type out that exactly if that's what you were doing.
Oh yeah, no, I was typing it just so that I can remember.
Okay, fair enough. So, and that's the gist of the message that you would like to send to him?
Yeah, what's wrong? We can help you. Is the urn related to your problems? Sending spell.
And the response you get is, can this type of communication be listened in on? Is it possible that somebody can hear what it is that we're saying right now?
Is that possible, Adam? I think it is in hell, but I don't know about...
anything's possible, right? When magic is concerned, and you remember there was this issue you guys had back in Baldur's Gate with the robots, or the constructs, I should say. Right. Being able to sort of detect thoughts in an area, and so, I mean, hey, anything is possible, but I would say this is certainly not a common or easy thing to intercept a sending spell. Okay, so then I'll use another sending spell to be like,
and ask him where are you? We can help you now.
I'll say, no, I don't believe that this can be intercepted. Where are you? We can talk face to face. I will not be able to respond again. The response you get is friend's house, not in danger, but Ladamalu looking for Leo.
Oh, shit.
And I will communicate that telepathically to everyone.
So maybe my suggestion of us going up and asking to go and see Ladamalu last night was okay.
And then in my head I'll be like, so you know how Brandel can see sensors when people are scrying on us? Did he reverse that on us?
Oh, maybe. Or maybe he just... Maybe that was who Wyatt was, the buyer that Wyatt originally had, and he now kind of took an interest in us after he started poking around. I don't know.
And I'll say telepathically, I didn't have that. I have it now, see invisibility, the last 2 days, but when he initially scryed, I was doing dark vision as my third eye. So you can see now in my name, I have see invisibility. That's only been for the last 2 days.
And then in my head I'll be like, so you know how Brandel can see sensors when people are scrying on us? Did he reverse that on us?
And I could see the invisible sensor. Would I imagine I could see that?
Okay, so...
And my amulet of scrying just protects me from being targeted, yeah.
Which is why he's targeting Leo, a known associate. Leo's never been far from you.
Gladly to accept that, yes.
Yeah, Leo does the, he gives Brandel a fist bump. Well, I guess do we want to go confront Ladamalu then and just tell him we're here to see him?
We could walk to the gates and tell the guards we've been asked to be entertained by Ladamalu.
That's its given name, but not its alias name.
Oh, right. They might not know.
So, I could do a sending spell to Ladamalu, asking for a sit down.
Yeah, that would.
I feel like that might be a good idea. Are we draining your power, Del?
Well, I've got higher level slots, so I could upcast, but
Well, I could boost you.
yeah, I've used like 2/3 level spells, and I have one more, but then I've got 3/4 and a 5th.
Well, Lexi could give you a fist pump, punch you in the arm.
Just remember, if she doesn't roll the 3, it wouldn't give nothing.
Yeah,
back.
it's true.
Okay, well, hold on. We did commune with Torm, and he told us that meeting this guy directly is not likely to go well for us. So maybe we should have some kind of plan beyond just trying to meet up with him.
And more than likely, any meeting that we do have with them, even in a public space, will not go our way, as it's a immortal creature, relatively speaking, that probably knows all of this town's secrets and is well connected.
Not that I have any inkling that this urn sitting here on the table is connected to this at all, but that's also a thing we can watch for.
Let me just, I looked up the journal, and I pretty much got this verbatim from listening for 4 hours on the collect. It says, after communing with Torm, Ramban learned that several things. Ladamalu might be expecting us. Ladamalu does not scry on us.
Just hadn't, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about this? We go up to this guy, and I say, I've sent a sending spell because he's obviously seen me cast. I sent a sending spell to your boss, and he told me to deliver the urn to him where he is, and we take the urn.
You see, he looks at you very skeptically. Go ahead and give me a deception check blind, though.
That was telepathic to the group. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking. Oh, okay, my bad.
Yep.
I don't know. He might be skeptical. I bet you'll have to deceive. I mean, I think that's a fairly. It's bound to lead to somewhere. Whether or not that's reserved for. Here, hold on. Excuse me, clerk.
Is
Sir?
this also in your head, or this?
This is out loud. I'll preference that. Then Leo says out loud to the clerk, Everett. Is that urn reserved for Ladamalu by chance?
And you see, he looks down at the paper that he was holding that Ramban tried to snatch.
Detect thoughts.
He's actually nodding subconsciously before he looks back up at you and says, "We can't share the information of the purchasers, I'm afraid." But
all right,
Detect Thoughts, Del certainly picks up Ladamalu as he read it right off of a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And Del will step up with Leo and be like, "You were lying. I have already talked to your boss, and he wants us to deliver that. So we will
Lying
be
about
taking it.
what? I said I can't share information. How's that a lie?
Not giving the information is the same as lying, in this case.
You see he looks around like looking for other people to help him, but nobody seems to want to get involved here. You see he looks back towards you and he says, well, moral quandaries aside, I don't really understand what your business is here. You may have spoken with him, but why would he tell you? That doesn't make any sense. Do you know how valuable this thing is? If I release this to you, I would be in very big trouble.
But I'm pretty sure it's the reason why it took the day off. We really are. This whole thing was about getting a hold of Ladamalu anyway. So we're going there. We'll take this urn to him, and we can go talk to him and deal with him for you. So you don't have to worry about it anymore.
You see, he looks at you very skeptically, and he says, "This seems very not standard. This seems incredibly off the cuff. But here's what I will tell you, since you look very determined. If you're able to give me something that is close in value to this, to hold as collateral, until all of this clears, I will release this urn to you."
What's the value of it?
You see,
I so happen to have the shield here.
He looks down quickly at the paperwork, looks back up, and he says, yeah, I would need something about 8,000 gold pieces to hold this.
Well, your boss has hired us as couriers to deliver this urn on his behalf to Ladamalu. How do you think we know Ladamalu is the buyer of this urn?
And you see he shrugs once again as he's looking. It doesn't say anything about couriers being hired, deliver. It specifically says hold it here until further notice. It literally says don't allow anybody else to buy this. Why would they send couriers and have this message? That doesn't make any sense.
And then telepathically in his head with Del, he'll go, because him having this near him, he has realized will cost him his life. That is why he is in hiding right now. And he wants his urn gone, delivered, so that he may not die.
All right, now give me your choice of either a deception or intimidation check. So roll a blind check and then just declare which one you'd like to use.
Okay, 1 second. So
you'll probably have to drag yourself on.
Deception. You said deception or intimidation?
Yeah.
Put a +5 on whichever one it is. Leo will be backing you up.
They're the same. So let me drag my token on.
Did we build it in for you, Leopold, where you can like spend those and it burns one?
I've just been clicking them.
Oh, okay.
It's okay.
I will go intimidation.
You see, he seems to be quite a bit unnerved here, Del, as you're contacting him telepathically. And you see he kind of like almost freezes for a moment as he looks around and then finally looks back at you and says, okay, yes, why don't you take the urn?
I'm going to say telepathically, but we don't know where we're taking it.
And then Del will pick up the urn and telepathically say, let's get out of here. And he walks out the door, and then he sees Ranvon, and he just gives him a smile and a quick little nod.
Nice work.
I guess we're gone. Okay.
As Leo's walking out, he'll say, is there a home address on there?
To the clerk?
Yeah.
You see he looks towards you and looks back down at the paper, looks back at you, and just shakes his head sideways. No.
Maybe we should need that piece of paper. Can we take that?
Do you got a receipt I can borrow? I'll bring it back.
No, there's no proof of purchase, if that's what you're asking for.
How about the note? Can we have the note, please?
I'm afraid this is the logs of the business. I can't just give this out to people.
Oh, I thought it was like a piece of note that was attached to it or something.
It's like, think of it almost like a booklet of parchments that he's like flipping through.
Not a post-it.
No, unfortunately not.
Leo, I have a great idea. You should create pieces of paper with glue on it that you could post on things.
That's not a bad idea. Little, like, post-it notes? Fluid notes? Let's get on that. That's not a bad idea. All right. Leo will go out with everyone.
Well, now we've stolen something. That's great.
Excellent.
Hey, it's not a crime until it's reported.
I got a couple of ideas. One, let's figure out exactly what this thing is so that it doesn't suck us into it like a magical trap vacuum machine or whatever. And then also, we might be able to just show the guards that we've got this obviously very expensive magic item in front of us that we're taking to La Damalu, but I don't have a forger's kit, but I still could write a very nice looking letter explaining that we are taking the urn to La Damalu for delivery from Wyatt's shop. So that's a possibility.
Can we get somewhere safe so that Randall can do his thing with this thing?
Yes, we can go back to the suite.
Let's go. And then I'm just gonna I imagine I'm like carrying how big's the urn?
It's about, like pound wise, I would say it's probably like 10 pounds.
Okay. So, how big is it roughly?
Think about maybe the size of like 2 footballs put together.
Okay. So definitely something that I would have to carry.
You wouldn't be able to like single, hand just grab it and you have to be cradling it in some way.
Okay. So I'll just try to carry it, but then use my cloak kind of to hide it from anybody just walking by.
Okay, yeah, that'll work. All right, so it sounds like you guys' plan is to head back to the Come and Stay Inn and then try to identify this.
Yep, I'll do a ritual.
And Leo's gonna try his paper note trick, which again, he doesn't have a forgery kit proficiency, so this is the next best thing that he can do.
How much were the rooms again? So Dell will walk in and just contract the rooms out for another 2 nights.
Okay, yeah, so the suites were a little more expensive. I think those were 5 gold a night, and then the regular rooms were 2 roughly. We can go with that for now.
So 14?
Yes.
Or no, so 5 plus 4, 9, so 18. Okay. Because we got 2 separate rooms and then the suite.
Yeah.
Right, yep. Okay, so yeah, that works out without much difficulty. You guys have secured the rooms once again. And Brandel, you attempt to identify this. Okay, so let me double check something real quick. Okay, so as you identify this, you saw before when you used Detect Magic that this was associated with Conjuration Magic. Once you cast Identify on this, you can determine that using this, which requires a code word for it to occur, will cause butterflies to fly up out of the urn once the cap on top of the urn is removed.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Butterflies.
Maybe they're killer butterflies, or giant butterflies?
Like, how many butterflies are we talking?
Well, it could be like a swarm or like a plague of butterflies.
And just regular ones? Like the...
I don't know. I'm not a druid yet.
Okay, well, does it say the command word for it? Did you learn that at least?
Apparently not. I didn't learn much in this casting.
Yeah, I don't think identify gives you command word. I don't see it in the description.
Well, that's what it is, but we're not intending on keeping it. We need to keep it to go see the Dolomew.
Right. Yeah, so Leo has taken out a piece of parchment and has written an approximation of a delivery notice that I guess looks official to him, but he might not know really what official looks like for Neverwinter's Black Lake District. And then let's say to everyone, all right, well, I guess we go and see about the guards getting in. I guess we still don't know what his alias is unless he just goes by Ladamalu, which is certainly possible. Or they may know once we say the name specifically who we're talking about.
Okay, so you've got your forged delivery document here. You guys have this urn itself. Is your intention now to just walk to the gates of Black Lake?
Are there any other avenues that we want to try before we go over there?
I thought we were taking this to your friend Wyatt.
No, because no, I think we were going to use it as an excuse to get into Black Lake to find the Damalu.
What about all that stuff about Wyatt gonna die?
You know what? Ranvon didn't hear that because he was outside.
Oh shit. Sorry guys, I'm a metagamer, I'll leave.
It's okay. Well, we all do it sometimes. It happens.
If you guys want me to, I'll go.
Okay. We just went. You know what? You're fine. Stay. You'll just take a -5 to the next 7 rolls you do. That's okay.
That seems fair.
Okay. Good. So anyway, Leo says, I think this is a pretty good way for us to get into Black Lake. I guess the question will be is if they know the name of the Damalu or if we need to figure out his alias before we go in there. Leo would like to scry on the mansion of Ladamalu.
Okay, and then I'll ask Ranvon, did you ever just ask Torm of the name of Ladalamu's alias?
But unless it's yes or no, I don't think he's gonna.
Oh, that's
tell
right.
me.
You can ask if the guards know. If we go up to him and say the Damalu, they'll know.
Okay, so you scry on the manor where you saw Ladamalu before, and the vision opens of the manor. You can see much of what you saw before. However, you notice that Ladamalu himself is actually standing on this upper level, and when your sensor appears, you see he turns right towards your sensor and points out with a clawed taloned finger and motions with his hand like, hey, come here.
I don't know if the rest of the group can see into the orb, kind of what's happening, but Leo will say, well, jig is up, he sees us, let's go over there.
Okay.
Yep. That kind of seals the deal.
wonder if he could always see it, or if he's just casted a spell today. Either way. All right, everyone. I guess I don't know if there will be a fight necessarily, but I guess prepare yourselves.
I'd rather not entangle with Ladalamu.
I don't think I want to either, but you never know.
All right, so it sounds like make your way to the Black Lake District and let the guards know that you have a delivery for Ladamalu and see if they let you in.
Yes. Let's see how that goes.
All right, you make your way to the Black Lake District gates. You can see the presence of guards increases significantly as you get closer, and you notice they're much more frequent here right outside the gates of Black Lake. As you speak with one of the guards and mention this, and you get like you're starting to reach into your pocket of where this piece of paper is to prove your receipt, you notice the guard that you asked this to looks right towards you, Leopold, and he says, "What's your name?"
Leopold does a very deadpan shit, and then he says, "Leopold."
"You are expected." You see he motions with his hand for a couple of guards that step up dressed in this real like burnished plate armor, and you can see they kind of make this little like cordon, you could think of it as, though it's pretty small with just the two of them. And you see he motions and he says, "You will follow the escort. They shall take you to Ladamalu's mansion."
Great, thank you. Thanks for the escort. We appreciate it.
You see the sort of like captain of the gate guard here turns his attentions right back to just watching and perceiving as these two guards start taking you through Black Lake. Black Lake is much nicer than the rest of Neverwinter. You start to see all the signs of wealth. You can see even that there are like lamps that are filled with continual light spells that have these shutters on them, and you presume that at nighttime they simply just open the shutters and then they got light where they need it. You can see the eponymous Black Lake itself looking very beautiful in the sunlight. You got all these like lily pads that are floating on it, and these very beautiful flowery gardens nearby. All of the homes look very upscale, and most of the people walking about are very well dressed, clean in presence and attire, and seem to be very happy and joyful. As you get closer to where you're being directed, you notice this large black slate manor, and you can see the guards motions towards the door and says, "You may enter. They are expecting you."
So I think my hour's up on the bond, maybe, but I want to say, let's just be open with him. I feel like we catch ourselves in some babble that it's probably best just to be open. That's my suggestion.
I don't disagree. Maybe we'll just kind of let him see what he says first, and then kind of go off that. But it's probably going to be quicker in the end to just go straight out with it than to try and outmaneuver a however old this immortal being is.
Let's just try to make it out of here in one piece.
Agreed.
We go inside.
So that's what I was waiting to hear. All right, you guys open the door and walk on in. There's like this small antechamber area that you have to walk through. Think of it as almost like a breezeway, and you pass through two additional sets of doors that look like they're, again, just, you imagine maybe these are like for security purposes or more privacy. But once you get through this third door, it opens up into a very well furnished and established looking manor. You're in sort of like this main area, and Leopold, you recognize almost right away that this is the room that you have previously seen through your scrying capabilities. It's very nice looking. There's these nice carpets on the ground. Everything looks to be just a bit upscale. To give you an idea of what you're looking at, I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on this map. I'm going to ask that you don't immediately start running everywhere unless that's what you truly want to do, but obviously that could change things.
My character was going to run everywhere. Oh.
trying something a little bit different with this map, as you guys can probably see with a different perspective, but just, trying some different art styles out.
It looks very nice.
All right, so as you guys enter, you notice pretty quickly from the entryway, as you look up, you can see Ladamalu himself standing on the second level. He probably doesn't have this very terrifying looking skull cane in his hand at the moment, but he is looking down at you, and you get this impression almost of like a hawk or an eagle looking at his prey.
We brought your urn.
And you see he points down near the entryway and says, "You can leave it there."
All right.
Hey, we were curious. What does it do?
And you see he kind of turns his head again, very bird-like motion, as it kind of turns sideways and looks towards you. "Me to know, you not."
I mean, okay, sure. I just thought you maybe do it. I was just curious.
"Cats and all."
So, Ladalamu, you've been expecting us, I suspect?
Well, when you randomly get scryed on, of course you want to know who's doing it.
Yep.
Yes. Well,
Yeah, no, fair enough.
apologize for the intrusion, but we were desperately wanting to talk with you.
Well, here I am.
Yes. So, we've learned quite a bit about you, and I am inquiring upon maybe picking your brain at a situation that I find myself in, and I believe that you may have some direction of which you might suggest to help me, although I admit there's no reason why you should, but it's always worth the try.
Obviously, you've done your research before coming to see me. What are you going to offer me to want me to help you?
We've got this urn.
And you see his head kind of jerks a little bit cockily again, and he points out a clawed talon as he points towards you and says, "I don't like you very much."
I mean, it's kind of mutual. You wouldn't tell me what the urn does.
Not your business.
Ladamalu, we, through our research of you, have learned that you are very big on fallen civilizations. You obviously maybe know a little bit about our temperament, so I don't think we're going to be helping you cause any societies to go crashing down. But we are accomplished adventurers, so if you perhaps have a direction of a place that you haven't visited yet, we could help you out. Or, I don't know, scout around and see if we can't find something that you might be interested in.
And you see his, once again, this head jerk motion, and he actually shifts slightly now, his bulbous body. You can see through this like cloak on his back, these different like bird wings, you would presume, kind of like pushing here and there, prodding at the cloak as he looks towards you. "You help me bring down a civilization. You are not capable. That's a very challenging thing."
No, I didn't. I said we wouldn't help you with that. But if there's already dead ones, we can go maybe find some for you, or I don't know, look for some.
You see his head kind of shakes here as he's looking at you. You can tell he's not really interested in what you're saying. No. Maybe you have something else to offer.
Such as?
Well, you're adventurers. You've collected lots of things. Start dropping some, and I'll tell you when it's enough.
Okay, well, we got this to start, and he'll point to the urn.
You see, this time he just completely ignores you, Ranvo.
How are we gonna know if it's enough if you don't respond?
His head jerks once again as his hands, like taloned hand, just kind of moves, almost though he's like has these little spasms as his face is looking at everybody except for Ranvon.
We have a soul coin, I'm sure, laying around.
You want a heart of pure gold?
Do we have a soul coin?
I've got 2.
Place one down.
What you want is very secret information. The price is very high.
Let me ask you, Master Ladonlemu, what is it do you know that we seek?
I know.
And will you be able to give a just and true answer that would absolve me of my fate?
And you see he kind of purses once again as his body kind of flexes a little bit, and he actually grasps onto the railing here, and you can hear his talons click, clickety, clack, click, click, clack as he looks towards you. I will tell you where to go.
Okay, we have soul coins directly from Avernus. These should be quite interesting to examine. Inside is a trap. Oh, you probably know what they are.
You see his head kind of jerks once again. Soul coins. You must do much better than that.
Leo sighs, reaches into his bag, pulls out the scrying orb.
And you see as he looks towards this, his eyes actually squint a bit, and then you hear as his like teeth kind of chatter, and he looks towards it. Yes, this will do.
Randall, I know you wanted this desperately, but it's not going to be worth anything for you if you're a pile of black goo.
Yes, sadly, I had portended this.
And also, something tells me the gods are getting tired of me constantly scrying on other people at a moment's notice with on a whim. So, Leo will hold up the crystal ball. This is enough.
If we give you the orb, though, we're keeping the jar.
You see he still ignores you, Ranvan, as he looks towards you, Leopold, and he puts out one of those talon fingers again and says, Yes, this will do. I shall send one of my servants to collect it from you.
Did you intend to rhyme?
You see his head kind of like jerks once again as he looks towards you this time, Del, but doesn't speak. From behind the stairwell to the northwest, you hear the sound of heavy movement as a suit of armor starts making its way closer to you. As it gets to here, Leo, it reaches its hand forward as you're holding out the orb.
For just a microsecond, Leo thinks about tossing it to him, but he hands it over so that he doesn't drop it.
He collects the orb with one hand, then grabs onto the urn set on the side here with the other as he begins to walk back.
I'll just take that legendary item off of my attunement list.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Alas. But you know what? We're probably going to get Brandel's soul back at some point, so.
And you notice this structure, this construct comes up and hands over the orb to Ladamalu, who looks at it very intently, and you can see him actually wiping it at the top and looking into it, and seems to be very, very interested. As he looks back now towards you, you see he looks very intently and says, "Yes, yes, the knowledge you seek."
Go on.
"The cult of the raging fiend. I know where they are, and they have a direct link to what you seek."
Excellent. What way would we gain knowledge of this link?
"What way? Well, in the cult's headquarters there, scampered away, they have a circle to the 9 hells."
We were just there. Well, not all 9 of them.
"Yes, but this circle can be used to conjure those from the 9 hells and bind them to service with the right knowledge."
And I'm sorry, I've been a cloistered scholar my whole life. How would that gain my circumstance?
You notice his head shakes once again and looks towards you and says, "My, you really aren't very smart for being a Candlekeep wizard. Well, you see, you simply conjure the one that holds the contract. Then you arrange for a deal to release it, and it releases your contract."
What? You seem quite astute of my situation. What do you expect would be the terms of my release of my contract?
"That really depends, but I would not come in with less than pure strength."
Or like another magic item deal?
"Maybe, but giving up souls is not in the nature of devils, so you will have to be very persuasive."
I know someone who's very persuasive. He's not here now.
I need to call him up for this. This is going to be all hands on deck kind of thing. All right. Will you tell us then where we can find the cult?
"Yes, the village of Basalt, far to the southeast. That is where the cult's headquarters are. The village looks normal, but if you head to the village's church, you will find a secret passage that leads underground to the headquarters."
That was church, underground, headquarters. All right. When you mentioned that circle that will summon creatures from the 9 hells, I imagine the magic to bind them is not included in that circle, and that would have to be something that we would provide on our own.
"Yes, the circle will enhance, but you must supply the base magic."
What would that require, good sir?
"Whoa, you don't know? Perhaps something like planner binding."
There's a couple of them. We'll have to go and do some shopping. We'll have to do some shopping now.
Well, you said offer strength. Could you elaborate, please? I'm quite deficient in that.
You see his head jerks once again, and those feathers ruffle behind as he looks. No, I said bring strength. For if you can't hold your own, what can you negotiate with?"
Oh. You mean beat down into submission until we agree to terms. Sounds barbaric, even for devils.
Devils live forever unless they are killed in a furnace. But if you are smart enough, you can bring a little bit of a furnace through the portal. The circle will act that way, and then death will be true death.
Not bad, Ladamalu. Not bad.
His head jerks as he looks towards you once again, Leopold. Oh, I am filled with excitement for your approval. But if that is all...
So we summon Asmodeus and beat him up until he agrees to let me go of my contract?
Maybe. Or maybe look at the one that holds the contracts in store.
Oh. Do you know who that might be?
He goes by M.
Oh, M.
You know, I feel much better about this since we don't have to summon Asmodeus himself now.
We know M. Do you know M, Ladamalu?
Yes.
Good guy, lots of merchandise. Eccentric in many ways.
Right. Ladamalu, if there's any other little tidbits that you probably don't want to share but would be nice to, feel free, but otherwise I think we'll take our leave of you now.
You may leave.
Nice house. I don't know about the art, but the house is nice.
His head just jerks once again as he looks, but he doesn't take his eyes off of you. They sort of narrow once again. You get that impression of a hawk just hovering up, getting ready to dive down.
All right, we're going.
Leo, do you know what he meant by bringing little Asmodeus with M?
Yeah, we'll go outside.
Okay, all right.
All right, you guys exit out of this area just for funsies, since you guys are not in this area, and I presume are not going to immediately turn around and come back. Show you what was up here on this other floor.
Yeah, it's a really cool map. I like the artwork.
Yeah, this was one of the pro packs, I think, that we got for being pro members, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I can put together a cool little like potential battle scene here, right? Like, I never like to force a battle, but that was kind of how it was set up. And I think you remember seeing him checking the carpets. He actually has 2 snake carpets that were actually built into the carpets, so if you walk over them, you can conjure them up, kind of thing. But yeah, you guys managed to get out of here without any combat, so that is definitely a success. Can't die when there's no fighting, right? Paid the big cost of the orb, but gained a lot of great information, so it may very well be worth it.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. I feel good.
Yeah, I love that map.
That was cool. That would have been fun to fight in.
I was thinking like going up the stairs is going to be kind of interesting and all that, but yeah, the little 3D bits, the perspective I thought was kind of cool.
I bet any one thing in that room could have killed us.
Yeah, I have a feeling those were some significant enemies.
I recognized some of them. I didn't recognize the metal man, but they look like the devil. So I was like, no, that's not for me. Not today.
Yeah, nah, man, nah. We cool.
All right, so as you exit from Ladamalu's manor, the escort is waiting outside and pretty quickly escorts you back to the gates and exits out of Black Lake, unless you're going to try to force your way out, in.
No.
Okay, then everything goes as standard protocol here. They escort you out, and you guys find yourself back outside of Black Lake District, out front of the gates.
All right, so what he said earlier, if you summon a devil up here onto the prime material and you kill him, it doesn't really, he just goes back down to hell. And sometimes they have a little demotion or whatever, but they're still alive. If we bring Avernus, like if we summon M and we summon the ground with where he's standing also, that I think would count as Avernus. So if we manage to kill him while he's standing on that ground, then he would permanently die.
He would return to be a lemur.
I think
Into the river Styx.
I think he would die forever.
Not gonna lie, I would very much like to kill M.
And I don't think that would be a terrible.
And only because I know that he would kill trees.
Right. There you go, Brandel. You're really leaning into that. I'm happy to see it.
But is he the one who currently holds the contract? Because I thought he sold it away.
He's holds the contract. He's holding the contract, so we just take the contract. We destroy the contract.
So he's the one that is able to get a hold of the contract and transfer the contract and give it back to and fro, and the middleman, if you will. He's like the merchant of people's souls.
Hey, Adam, I know
that was just an amazing description. Yes, spot on, Brad. Take inspiration for that. Merchant of Souls. That is
awesome.
Nice.
But I got a question. I don't think you guys. I think Lexi. I think Anna went through this, but we went through the fugue plane. I know Brandel's the only one who's lived through that. That's why my contract with Asmodeus. It was when we were level 2 or 3 or something.
I was there.
Yeah. Was he the guy in the fugue plane?
You guys don't know who exactly it was that saw you in the fugue plane, and you don't know for sure who holds your contract. You just gathered some information stating that somebody in the Nine Hells was interested in collecting the souls of scholars and academics.
Okay.
I think it might work out this way. If M himself isn't the one holding it, he, I think, has a lot of free reign in Avernus and maybe Hell itself. So he might be able to summon whoever has it or tell us, and then we can summon them also right after.
Okay. He's a Rakshasa who has mind imprisoned dozens of people who can't speak a secret or speak against them without having their brain melted.
Yes, because that's what you dealt with at the Emporium.
Yes. So, we must tread lightly because he always just seemed to show up. Because remember, all we had to do was speak his name and he would show up.
We should have killed him then.
Probably would have been a bit of a fight, I'm guessing. This might still be quite a fight, trying to subdue him, even with all of these things that will stack against him.
As I recall, the odds were against us at the time.
Never tell me the odds. Unless I'm trying to calculate them using math. Then, please.
Don't get me wrong, I'm all for ending that vile creature's life to may never be reborn again. If it requires a trip to hell, so be it.
I think we can make him trip up here. He can go on vacation this time.
But if we do this, and we raise our sword or stick against him, we must be certain that he is destroyed no matter where he lives. So he doesn't come after us.
Well, I think the idea is that he will know that he's going to die forever, and he'll hopefully parlay with us, right? And that's where we need Frederick to come in and say, we will spare you. You can go back to your fiendish behavior in the Nine Hells, but you will provide the contract and void it for Brandel's soul. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
I think that's essentially it. And, if we manage to make him agree to that, we'll have to not actually kill him, probably. So just keep that in mind. I don't know. Maybe we could just kill him and all of his contracts will be void. I don't know. We might have to look at that a little. But I think that's essentially the idea, Brendel.
Yeah.
Well, since we're here in Neverwinter, I think it actually might be worth us going to see if we can't track down a few of these scrolls that we're going to need.
Yes, I'll have to copy it on my spell book and make sure I have it prepared. Am I the only one? Is it a wizard only, or?
Which spell are you referring to?
A planner binding is one of them. Do we need both? Do we need more than one? Maybe can I do an arcane check and see what kind of spells I need in order to accomplish that task?
So, I would say based on basic knowledge that you could have acquired over your time of adventuring and so forth, planner binding is what pulls a being, a celestial elemental, fey, or fiend, to you, but it can just start attacking you if it wants to. So the circle that was referred to by Ladamalu is what is used as a barrier that prevents them from getting out. So the basic idea is you have the barrier, then you planner bind them, and then you work out some type of a deal or agreement, and then once they agree to that, you let them out of the circle, and then they're bound by the deal. So planner binding with the circle, assuming the circle is empowered and can actually enforce that protection, should get you the vast majority of the way. You have not heard. I will say, give me a religion check on this one, blind religion check, about this whole idea of pulling a little bit of another plane into the summoning circle to have it take effect that way.
Leo's gonna give a flash of genius. This is, I imagine, Leo and Brandel talking gibberish to everyone else because they don't understand the higher level arcana, mathematics, and religion philosophies that have to go into figuring out if this is viable or not.
This is way above your heads, Ramon. Sorry.
Right. We sound like we're a couple of college professors.
I'm going to inspire this too, so it'll be advantage and +5.
Okay.
Hey, don't forget, Dell is both sides of the coin
That's true.
with a low intelligence.
Yeah, he might. I don't know. That might make sense for him to have heard about that.
So, Brandel, you are quite confident that what is being discussed here, pulling part of the plane, is nearly impossible. It's something in the realm of wish spell level of power needed to do it.
Oh, there you go, Leo.
Oh well. Well, I guess then the fallback is that we leave him stuck in this circle forever, and he just has to sit there. That's pretty good motivation itself.
Sounds like we need Frederick. Because M is equally as charismatic.
Charisma versus charisma.
I wonder if Frederick has put on weight, tending bar all this time.
Hey, well, we scryed on him, didn't we?
He looked in good health.
Yeah, he was telling that story about the time Leo had the gem.
Damn it.
Or his tail?
Damn it. Let's go and find these scrolls.
It's a shopping episode, y'all.
Okay, so which scrolls are you trying to track down? We'll try to fast forward this a bit.
I'm looking for the planner binding, what I need to bring him.
You should grab Magic Circle too.
Yep, those two.
Don't worry, Leo. I had a big head. Like, significantly big head.
That is true, Del. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be so sensitive about it.
That's right, Dylan. Big head. I had a bad temper for a good week or so.
Evil Brandel.
Yeah, I miss Evil Brandel.
Okay, so trying to track these down. Whoever wants to take the lead on this will be a persuasion check, which will represent your efforts going through, talking to people, and trying to find where this particular scroll could be for your best deal.
Del can.
I think Del might be the best one.
Yeah.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Alright, find my token here.
And you can count on Leo being there to help you,
Yep.
kind of with the particulars. So
Well, I'm gonna
consider
do-
Flash a genius on that.
And I'm gonna do this. This is predictable to me. So I'm gonna portent you a 14. So you could at least get a 19 on that. You get a 14 on the D20.
And plus 5.
Okay, so I don't think you get a choice not to take the port. I was already
Okay.
looking at this. Del
No, you have to
rolled-
take the portent.
All right.
That's fine.
Del
'Cause
rolled a
it's
nat 20 on his
Oh
blind.
god.
Damn it.
Sorry, I was gonna
Well-
make sure
well-
we got it.
plus I have a plus 10 to persuasion.
You do,
So-
right. So, right. And then
So
with the
29.
flash, it's still a success. I just thought it was funny when I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's definitely. And then portent, I was like, oh, okay. Okay, so I would say you certainly can track one of these down within Neverwinter. With that check, it doesn't take too much effort here, but being that it is a level 5 spell, it is more on the rare side. So as far as expense goes, based on your really high persuasion check, I will say we'll reduce these costs by 25%, but go ahead and roll me 2d10, Del. And you can just roll that publicly. Okay, so normally that would be 12,000 gold. We would half that since it's a scroll to 6,000, and then we'll take a quarter off that, so 4,500 is going to be your price.
Okay, for ease of math, I'll put 15 in there. 1,500.
To buy, no, the cost to purchase it is 4,500.
Yeah, I'm putting in 1,500. I'm
Oh, gotcha,
assuming
gotcha.
we're all going.
You're talking
Yeah.
about shipping. Got you. Okay.
So 1,500 for me.
Leo spent a lot of his money for the what's his name's the sea swindle incident.
We have the writ for $1,800 for the thing you sold for the Dow necklace.
For 1,300, yes. I don't know if he'll take the letter necessarily. I think we have to go and like cash it in.
The shopkeep will take the letter of credit.
Really? Okay. So I guess throw that down.
Okay, so what's the remaining number that we need?
We're at 28 from 45. Go, Leo. You're our accountant in this party.
I'm pulling out my little calculator right now.
Yeah, oh, actually, you can do this right in Roll20, just so you guys know. If you do /roll and then put the numbers together.
Oh yeah.
Something like that. Not that Lexi has agreed to contribute all of her funds, but, you know.
Okay, Ramvon will put in 1,000.
I think you only need to put in 500 on this.
That's if Lexi puts in all of her money.
Yeah.
Right. We still have stuff in the bank too, so it's not like this is going to.
Like, all Adele's money is in his bank account at this point, other than, like, travel expenses.
No, we have it. We have 4,027 now. I mean, 5,027.
So 4,500 divided by 5 is 900 each. But Dell doesn't have any?
Doesn't have any on him.
But I have my writ, right? So
Okay, so Lexi, why don't you just put in? You just put in 1,200.
what if we all just do 900?
Yeah, for ease of calculations, whatever money's in the bank, you can assume you have access to it, and we'll just assume you guys did those, errands of doing the update of the credit letters.
Lovely. Yes.
So 900 apiece.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
I will-
well, my money that I'm carrying, I have like so much on me. I honestly don't know where we got it all now.
It's called high-level gameplay.
Yeah, that happens.
I'm always worried that I like put an extra number on my sheet.
I mean, if you've seen some of the treasure they were dropping at you in the Inner Sanctum, legendary crystal ball that you could probably sell for 150,000 or something. I mean, yeah, I expect you guys have a lot of money.
So I just took 900 off of my character sheet. So I have 861 left in my gold.
Okay, that was your on your person right now.
Yes, on my person. Has nothing to do with the bank.
Okay.
So are we doing 900 instead? Should I put 100 back on my sheet?
Yeah.
Yes. I guess tell me if you're I always love our banking sessions. Tell me if you want to take the money out of your bank, and I will edit the account sheet to reflect that. I think Dell, you said you wanted to do that because you didn't have any money on you, correct?
Right, but Dell has his own account.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. Well, you know what? I put it in as a separate number here, so. Okay.
All right, so once those last few financials are figured out, you are able to procure this scroll, and then separately you also want to look for a scroll of magic circle.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a bad idea to have that, even if the circle there is going to act like it.
Okay, Dell, if you're taking the lead, I'll ask for another blind persuasion check to see how well you do on this one.
Leo will add +5 to that. Yeah, I still got plenty. Well, not
All right.
plenty. One left.
I was going to say, it seems like you've used a lot of those so far, but... okay, so yes, you are able to track down one of these. A little bit more difficult this time, though. You're sort of pointed to an area that's known to have things that are a bit more expensive, I will say. So go ahead and roll me a d6 here, Dell. They will sell you a scroll of magic circle for 250 gold pieces.
Dell will buy it.
All right.
I'll give you 100 gold for that one, Dell.
No, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I can give money too. I'm sorry, I was just typing in my sheet.
Dell's been kind of stingy with his money, so he's more than happy to. Like, everyone else is like chipping in a bunch of money for everything, and Dell's hasn't been able to necessarily contribute as much. So
Okay.
Well, thank you, Dell.
All right, so with these two scrolls procured, what would you guys like to do next?
I'm is level 5 for planar binding. What's the level of magic circle?
3.
So that's 8. So that's 400 gold pieces worth of parchment, right? I do actually have $450 worth of parchment in my character sheet.
That works.
Nice.
But I'd like to copy into my spellbook, so I'll have 50 gold pieces left of spell copy parchment.
And that obviously takes you some time, right? A few hours, I think, per spell or something like that?
Oh yeah, per level and stuff. So I'll be in my room cloistered.
Okay.
What does 500 get you for parchment? Is it like really nice parchment or just a ton of it?
I would imagine it requires a lot because I have to interpret the writing. So I'm like scribbling and throwing papers on the ground and trying to write it in my own arcane, the way I cast the spell is the way I see it.
And I just picture you wrote it so it's like a flip book. So you just flip it and then each word is spelled out letter by letter and that's how you cast it.
That's a nice idea. As you crumple up papers to that don't work out, Leo will like smooth them out because you got to get the nature cred now, so we don't want to. We got to recycle this paper.
Oh, we have to recycle. God.
I usually just light it on fire so there's no trash.
Burn the trash.
Perfect nature servants right here.
Sounds like you want to spend another day here in Neverwinter doing the copying of the spells and that kind of stuff?
Well, we have the room for this night and then the following night.
Yeah, I think why don't we stay here? You can get your spells copied. Leo will take everyone on a grand guided tour of Neverwinter, and then I guess I don't know. Do we? Which thread do we go for first now?
I don't think we do the fight we've been warned was very dangerous.
Want to go to Basalt then?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. We deal with the M. Absolutely.
It may just be a total coincidence. Do you guys recall on the when we got all those kidnapped people and we had kind of a wheelbarrow full of bodies, right? I mean, we didn't kill them. It was the ones that we got during when we were looking for that very first book.
Yeah, the
the dryad
the
test.
alchemist.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Whichever alchemy.
And you recall them when I spoke with some of the dead to find out a little bit about them?
Oh,
Yes.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. There was one of them. I think it was Charles was his name. He was from Basalt. Do you think that's just coincidence?
I mean, it might be, but I mean, people have to be from somewhere.
With Adam as our DM, I would say it's not a coincidence.
But well, I think if either way, we can get there and let his family know, and then maybe it is a coincidence, or maybe his family also happens to have a hell circle in their basement. I don't know.
That was one of the questions I specifically asked. He said to speak to his mother.
Well, actually, when we get into town, maybe we go to her, and she might be able to help us out some.
I, she might be busy grieving.
True. I don't think. I think it might be worth the ask. If anything, just a little background on what's going on in town.
So, since we are getting close to the end of our session, it sounds like you guys would like to spend some more downtime here in Neverwinter with the transferring of these scrolls into the spellbook for Brandel, and then the rest of you guys going on a little tour of Neverwinter here. I think this would be a good opportunity to check some random events that could be occurring in town for you guys. So just to add a little bit of spontaneity here. So why don't we start from left to right? So Leopold, go ahead and roll, and you can do this publicly. Roll me a D100. That could happen. That'll be funny if it does.
Big 20.
All right, so that is a race-specific event, and you are a human, correct?
Yes. A variant human.
Oh, I'll pull up my variant chart then. Okay, so you rolled this. Okay, hey, this actually works out. I think this fits your character. So a friend from your childhood has done a heroic deed and has been made a noble for it. She invites you and your companions for dinner at her estate.
No shit.
So since you're in Neverwinter, this could be like a friend that you had, right? Maybe it was another tinkerer or just somebody that you knew, and they've done something amazing. So think of this as a good RP opportunity to expand on that if you wish. Brandel, we know, is spending a bunch of time transferring scrolls, so we're going to skip him from any events because I don't think we have any in the room events, unfortunately. But Lexi, go ahead and roll me a D100 as well, please. 91, all right.
I think that's summon a dragon when you hit over a 90.
Yes.
91. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right. It says it starts with strange movement and mirrors and small sounds that no one else seems to hear. Soon you catch sight of a translucent hand here or the glimpse of a face there. After several days, you are convinced that you are being haunted by a ghost. Or maybe this is just a drug side effect.
Oh, this is awesome.
Is it the skimmer withdrawal, or is this the good side or the bad side?
It sounds like
Maybe
something to build on for sure.
She goes in and out of both, but you notice her paranoia has become worse, and she's starting to scratch herself more.
All right, next on the chopping block here, Del, D100, please. All right, that is a class specific, and what would you consider your primary class? Because you're only going to get to pick one. I know you're multi-class.
Okay, so I'm a paladin 8 and a aberrant mind sorcerer 5.
So I'll let you pick. What do you consider Del to be more of? I know obviously one's higher, but what do you consider him to be?
Well, at this time, he's more focusing on his sorcerer skills.
All right, we'll go with sorcerer then. So that was a 5 for sorcerer. Okay, you hear music that for whatever reason seems to soothe the storm of magic in your soul. Do you follow the music?
Yes.
You discover a poor young woman playing a mundane flute. For a few coppers, she will teach you the song, and it always brings you a measure of peace.
Del gives her 2 gold.
She is quitting playing the flute, and she is going and buying a room. No, I'm kidding, but she's very happy for your donation, yes.
All right.
All right, last up we have Ranvon, D100, please. All right, 26 is, it's a background specific event. And remind me what your background is for Ranvon.
Acolyte.
Acolyte, okay. Okay, 26 for Acolyte. You are asked to preside over a wedding. The wedding, however, is between 2 different races that are determined randomly, and many in the community do not approve. You may counsel the couple to go elsewhere if you wish, or you can make an impassioned sermon to the community. Which would you like to do?
I think that Ranvon would try and do an impassioned sermon to convince people to let these 2 love who they'd like.
Okay, give me a blind skill check. Okay, you give your impassioned speech, and the community seems to take a turn for the better, and you may perform the ceremony with no negative consequences. Alright, so that was just a little bit of interesting character-specific events for your time in Neverwinter here. You can expand on those as you like. It gives a little bit more depth to your characters. Sometimes weird things can happen on these, but these ones I think were pretty interesting and fit you guys pretty well, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Alright, so Brando's spending his time scribing those scrolls. Is there anything in particular, Leopold, as you're showing the group around Neverwinter that you wanted to bring their attention to, or anything you wanted to accomplish before we fade to the next day?
I mean, I think he probably definitely shows them like where his old shop was, and maybe like his old house, and because I think Leo's probably interested himself in seeing like what's there now, or what the house looks like. It's probably a convenience store, I'm guessing, now after he moved out. And then I think he'll just kind of like hit the big touristy things that are in Neverwinter. So like most of the bolded things that are on this map here, he might kind of take people through. Although I imagine he'll skip the prison and the graveyards and just kind of hit the more I guess
Savory
interesting
places.
Safer. So that's kind of Leo's whole thing here.
Okay, and remind me, how long has it been since Leopold has been out of Neverwinter?
Well, let's see. I'm trying to remember myself. We have, I mean, he basically left at the end of when we finished Avernus, so that with the downtime that we had a year off, so
Yes.
it's been probably about a year and a couple months, I'm thinking, at this point.
Okay.
Well, in Avernus, it wasn't. What did you say? We're 3 years in Avernus?
Well, if you guys remember, time worked differently in Avernus. That's why I was asking. So you lived in Neverwinter, and then I remember the group met you, Leopold in Candlekeep. So did he move out of Neverwinter when he went to Candlekeep, or did he still live there before he went to Candlekeep?
That was still his residence. So if Leo hadn't met the group after he was done in Candlekeep, he would have went back to Neverwinter at that time.
Fair enough. Okay, so technically it might have only been a year and some months, but time passes differently in Avernus. So yeah, it's actually been longer than that. And again, it's hard to place an exact date on it, of course, unless you check the calendar. But so you can guess it's somewhere between like 4 and 5 years have actually passed. 1 year of actual downtime, and then your time in Avernus was more like 3.5 years kind of thing. So altogether, yeah, say about 4.5 years total. So I would say in that amount of time, there's not a major change here. So if you were using like your house and have a little shop out of the back of it, I would presume it looks mostly the same, though you would see that, different people obviously own it now, and it's very unlikely to still being used as a shop, and so it's probably, this little side piece of it might be for, a guest house or a thing for pets or something that is more mundane and not as techy, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. And Leo's fine with that. I think he was just worried it was going to be a gas station when he came back. I keep thinking of Grosse Pointe Blank. Anyway, then he'll just, after he makes sure that his entire childhood hasn't been paved over, he'll give everyone the official Neverwinter tour.
All right, fair enough. So as we are approaching the end of our session here, guys, is there anything in specific you wanted to address today before we wrap it up for tonight and then plan for next week, where I assume your intention is to get over to the village of Basalt as quickly as possible? So think about those accommodations. Are you going to try to teleport somewhere kind of close and then get a little bit closer, or how are you exactly going to try to get there?
Can you show us where Basalt is on the map?
I sure can. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let me bring that up so you guys have that visual. If you recall, it's been on there for a little while because
far south.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how soon you guys were going to be making your way this way. And I know somebody spotted it one time and was like, hey, there it is, when you guys were Speak with Dead the Bodies. So,
and I actually have on my character sheet a map of the Sword Coast.
We pull out Brandel's map as we stare at it on the computer.
I don't know if that'll help me teleport, but
okay, yeah, it's way down there. And where are we now again?
You are now in Neverwinter. So, as you will notice, however, perhaps not coincidentally, the Cloud Peaks are fairly close to the village of Basalt.
Isn't that convenient? We can almost die and then almost die again. Perfect.
Well, I'm thinking Candlekeep stop. I think it's best if I make some scrolls for Frederick if he's going to join us. Because I think the actual planner binding is that whoever cast it has to do the persuasion. And I'm horrible at that. Brandel is. But planner binding can't be used by a sorcerer, but anyone can do the scroll, right, Adam?
No. Only generally with scrolls, unless there's some kind of special ability at play, you can only read a scroll if the spell is on your class list.
Oh, okay. And it's Ranvon then. I don't know how your charisma is, but we gotta how to think about that before next session, before we start thinking about the plan for this, because I'm not a charisma guy.
I'm also not a charisma guy.
Okay.
So
right.
What I'll ask you guys to do then is to, obviously these last two sessions have been a lot of fun, but maybe a little bit light on the action. And
Yeah.
I'd like to try to keep it balanced between roleplay and action. So expect next session is going to be much more heavy action. And with that in mind, I will ask you guys to make any arrangements of, specificity. Who's going to do what? What are we going to buy? If you can take care of those things between this week and next week in Discord, and just mention your plan, get some buy-in. I'll ask for people to give thumbs up or down on the plan, kind of thing. And then when we start next week, we can try to get as quickly into some of the action as possible.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
Yeah, totally. Let's. I feel like this is great. We have a nice direction. And this is where we thrive.
All right, good deal.
No one else in the group has teleport besides Frederick, do we?
I do.
Oh, okay, all right, great.
Yeah, I got us here to Luskin.
Right, I believe Frederick has teleportation circle, and Brandel now has teleport.
Oh yeah, we teleported to Luskin and then took a boat to Neverwinter.
Well, I think actually, yeah. Anyway, I have teleport. At some point, I got us back to Candlekeep, and I think Severia teleported us to Luskin. I think that's how it technically happened. But I have teleported us at least once.
Yep. So obviously, if you guys chose to teleport to outskirts of Candlekeep, like you've done before, then you see on the map there how long it's going to take you by foot to get to the village of Basalt. that's a 11 and a half day journey or so. So, keep that in mind. If there's other arrangements you want to make, just, like I said, have those discussions in Discord and figure out your guys' plan, and then we'll try to move quickly along so we can get you guys closer that way. I think maybe the biggest question is, because you're heading right by the Cloud Peaks, is it your intent to search at this time, or are you following Ranvan's advice and saying skip that for now until you feel more capable and then come back at a later time, since Lateran told you that it was not a time-sensitive thing?
I think Basalt first and then Cloud Peaks second.
If we, it might be, I kind of want to say I'd like to search around and see if we can't figure out what's up there in the Cloud Peaks, but that might also trigger us having to throw down with it, so I don't know. Maybe we'll discuss that in the chat there.
Yep, yeah, if you can think of some way of surreptitiously scouting, right, where you won't be spotted, then maybe an option. But yeah, I would tend to lean on your initial thought there that if you find it, it probably is triggered.
Right.
All right, good deal, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this session. It was a lot of fun, a lot of role play, a lot of involved character type actions and so forth. And you guys have been very careful about some of the encounters that you've gotten, which is always a good thing, obviously, to be circumspect and not put yourself at any undue danger. But next session, I will say there will definitely be some danger, so be prepared for that. And we'll see how things go. So have a great night, everybody. We'll see you all next week.
Great
Thanks,
session.
y'all.
See you guys.
Take care,
Have a
everyone.
good week, everyone. Take care.